Northmor High School, where we've got a tri-way wrestling meet on the way this afternoon. Northmor is going to be taking on Galion. Galion's taking on Willard, and then Willard versus Northmor in the nightcap. I'm Brian Skowronski, joined this afternoon by the one and only Bruce Weirich. And, exciting times, Bruce. These kids finally getting back out here on the mat. This is the first match for a couple of these teams. Northmore's been in action once, but good early season wrestling. Kind of get a barometer for your program right away.
And the one thing you want to do right now, Brian, is you want to get these kids mat time in competition. They've been in the wrestling room. They've been working out. They've been doing their own thing. Well, right now is where it counts, and this is the mat time that you need. And this starts the road to the big party, the state tournament. And
something that's really exciting, we're here inside of Mike Skelton Gymnasium, and guess what, Bruce? You are going to be joined by the legend here at Northmor. The one and only Mike Skelton is about to take over on the mic. I'm going to head down to the floor. We're going to have some interviews with some winners this afternoon of wrestling. So thank you guys for tuning in on Facebook and YouTube. Turn it over to you, Bruce, with the call.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate everything. This is Northmor High School. This is the home of Mike Skelton. And Mike and I, we go way back. You talk about the early days of the J.C. Gorman, and when I got that started, and when I took over the J.C. Gorman, we still did it the old way where the coaches would get together, have the smokers, and as time evolved, we slowly got to the computerized stage, and we started doing it all online. And there was nobody that knew more about wrestling back in those days than Mike Skelton. Mike, how you doing tonight?
Bruce, it's good to see you.
Yep.
Welcome to Northmor.
Oh, I love it down here. This is the home of small school wrestling.
This is God's country.
This is it. This is, when you take a look at all the programs and what's going on in wrestling, you can always look at Northmor and what Mike Skelton has done here. And later on, Mike, I'm going to ask you a question. What's it take to keep a program at the top?
A lot of good assistance and a strong grade school program.
Yeah.
We've oftentimes told people our most important coaches are our youth coaches and our middle school coaches. And along those lines, I'm looking down at the scorers table and seeing our middle school coaches run the scorers table tonight, selflessly giving time. And one of those coaches is our head football coach, Scott Armrose, who's just doing a fantastic job with our football program.
And on the mat right now, we have a 120-pound weight class.
And I've got grades.
And both wrestlers early season just feeling each other out, working after each other.
Bruce, I've written down the grades. I've gotten the coaches to write down the grades next to the wrestler's name. So that's always good to know, whether we're throwing a freshman on the mat against a seasoned veteran.
Right now we have two wrestlers who look like they know what they're doing out there, Mike.
Good stance.
Yep. They have good stance, good basics, starting out early in the season.
They're protecting their legs. They're hand fighting.
Both wrestlers taking simple shots here, nothing fancy, just trying to work each other. Early in the season, we have two officials on the mat. Kind of unusual to see that. And we have a stalling warning on green.
Oh, it's not unusual to see two officials at Northmor. We do things right here.
Yeah, they always have.
Our pats on the back to our school. We're undergoing a $5 million upgrade with facilities and not asking for another penny in tax dollars in the process.
If you notice the wrestlers on the mat, for those that do not know that much about wrestling, they're wearing ankle bracelets. One is green and one is red, and they correspond to the officials. The officials have a red and a green wristband on. And when the officials give points, they will raise either the right or left, and it'll be red or green, and they'll give you what it is. We have about 9 seconds left in the first period here. Score is 0-0. Both wrestlers up. No takedowns in the first period. And that ends it.
And I would imagine many of our viewers are seasoned wrestling viewers. They know what they're watching. But those wristbands that Bruce just mentioned are even more significant this year. You'll notice at the end of the match, the official won't touch a wrestler, won't raise a wrestler's hand. He'll just raise a wristband signifying who won the match, red or green.
And right now, Willard gets the escape. He started down. He gets 1 point for the escape. Both wrestlers are now in the neutral position, as they call it.
You'll see the head official signal the point. The other official is a mat judge. He's not going to signal the points.
You see the Willard wrestler working the head, the upper arms. The wrestlers want to try and stay in the middle of the mat. The officials are going to try and work them and keep them in the middle of the mat, and they just want to keep the action going. Both wrestlers up. Willard is up 1-0.
I've seen this gym packed for wrestling many, many times. It's kind of sad to see such a sparse crowd, but those are the times.
Yeah, with the COVID now, everything is like that. Even colleges, you watch a college football game and there's nobody there. Nice shot by Northmor. Willard countered nice.
No, that was
2 points takedown.
Willard counted too nice, huh?
Yep.
Too nicely.
Willard gets 2 points for the takedown. Willard is now ahead 3-0.
Northmor wrestler went in with a little bit with his head down.
And this is early season. Everything that happens now is fixable. You can still make things happen for you. Willard's ahead 3-0. This is second period. Wrestling on the edge of the mat.
Hope springs eternal in December, doesn't it, Bruce?
It does. It really does. So now, because Willard had control of the wrestler, Northmor will go into the down position.
Look at Northmor over there in the corner. You'll see 5 coaches. Yeah. 5 coaches. God bless Northmor.
And here we go. Willard's got an arm bar working him. Northmor trying to get wrist control, try to get control of the wrestler on top. Willard is able to take him back down to the mat.
There's our superintendent behind the chairs. He's an old high school wrestler from Bucyrus, Chad Redmond.
And at the end of the second period, we have Willard up 3-0. And the points that they're showing, these are match points. And right now we have injury time. We have blood. Bloody nose early. Once you get a blood count, they'll start the clock. You have a total of 5 minutes total blood time. That's not including cleanup time when they have to clean their uniform.
That young man on the mat is a tough kid. He's only a sophomore. His father wrestled for me several decades ago. He's a straight A student as well. He won't back down.
He's got his hands full right now.
That's C.J. Stoney.
He's down 3-0. C.J. is going to have to do a little work this period. He elected both up position. He seems like he can wrestle on his feet more than on the mat, Mike.
He was good enough to hit the varsity lineup as a freshman and had a winning record.
And in wrestling, when you're a freshman and you have a winning record, you're just going to keep getting better and better and better. Right now, both wrestlers are just kind of feeling each other out again. Northmor has got to start pushing the pace a little bit. He's down 3-0. Stalling on red.
He was blocking off, and that's why he got that stalling call. He was using that head tie to just block off. CJ's pummeling in for hand position, hand fighting.
He's pushing it. He's the aggressor, looking for it. Oh, I couldn't finish the move. 2 points, Willard on the takedown. Willard is now up 5-0.
That's a junior from Willard. His name is Connor Robbins. Obviously knows what he's doing.
You're looking at 2 programs, the Willard program. You're looking at the Northmor program. Both of them have had great runs. I can remember when Willard controlled every tournament in the area.
Yes, sir.
Then Northmor comes back and they have their run. And then Lexington has their run.
Right now it's all about Ashland, huh?
Yeah, right now Ashland's the team. And Willard's got the arms barred. He's looking for back points. Anytime you can expose your opponent's back to the mat, the official will start waving his arm and start giving you back points. You're close to a pin, but you're not in a pinning combination. So what happens, the official will award you with what they call back points.
When Bruce was mentioning premier area wrestling programs, he left out Ontario. He was responsible for building that Ontario program, and I saw the Ontario team last week. They are loaded this year.
Right now, Northmor, young man's got his hands full. He's got to work himself off the mat. There's only 7 seconds to go.
You're humble, Bruce, leaving out Ontario, because they sure had their run. And I think they're back.
They do have Coach Kroll over there is doing a great job with them.
Yep.
As you see right now, Willard wins 5-0. That'll give them 3 team points. They are ahead 3-0 in the total team running.
Good match, really, even though it was a 5-0 match.
It was.
Both kids knew what they were doing.
And this is a forfeit. Looks like started out at 13. This is the forfeit for Willard.
Willard only entered 9 weight classes tonight.
And that's one of the big things, Mike. How do you keep the numbers up in wrestling?
Well, in a normal year or in this year's pretty cussed tough to keep the numbers up. And even a school that traditionally has fielded good numbers like Northmor has had a lot of trouble with numbers this year. We have a sparse lineup tonight. You know, a good, nice, quick takedown there, wasn't it?
It
right
was
off the whistle.
Good counter, nice counter. He moved well. Maybe you can mention who those wrestlers are, Mike, since you know them pretty good.
Well, we're wrestling 138 pounds, so we're looking for Caden Barnett from Willard, and Caden is only a freshman. And the young man wrestling for Northmor is a junior.
And I'll tell you what, he knows what he's doing. He has control of his man. He's working him on the mat, able to move him to his back. He's got the arm bar in there. He's got the wrist control. He's getting back points counted. And he's just going to sit there, put his weight on the young man at the bottom.
That's our quarterback out there that's getting that pin, Marcus Cortez.
What a combination. You go from quarterback to on the wrestling mat.
This young man grew up wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I saw him in a couple football games. He's a heck of a quarterback also.
Yeah.
Very good quarterback.
We're very proud of our football program right now.
And there's a 1-point escape. Basically, Northmor kind of let him go.
Oh, nice slide by. Nice slide by, Marcus.
Nice throw. We used to call that a throw by. You tie up with the young man, give him a head shrug, and next thing you know, he runs by you, and you grab him, and down to the mat you go.
Throw by, slide by, same thing.
Yep. And one thing you're going to notice, and one thing I know a long time ago, Mike, is that schools will start to develop their own wrestling style. And some schools will work the arm bar. Some schools will come back and run the half. Some of them will run different moves to stick the legs in. And a lot has to do what the head coach leads them with. And what's one of your favorite moves to put somebody on their back, Mike?
Our favorite move is to have the official raise our hand at the end of the match.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
We've always found wrestling to be a lot more fun when you're winning.
Yes, it is.
Our number one goal every year was to have fun, but we always tell them the best way to have fun is to not lose.
Yep. And right now.
Nice tilt.
Yep. Tilt. This is for exposure for the back. You can see the official waving his arm. Gets another back point. The score is now 10-1.
He's got a major decision so far, but he'll work for the technical fall, which is a 15-point spread. Marcus has chosen neutral.
Well, he's a great takedown. Let's see if he can do the throw by again. He's working for the single leg. Far leg.
Obviously,
There's the shuck, head shuck.
obviously, Marcus can think on his feet if he's the quarterback of the football team.
It is, and you notice that he's never taken down. In on the double leg. Very good double leg takedown. 2 points for the takedown. I like when a wrestler gets aggressive early in the season. You can see him putting a half in there. He always keeps pressure on the down man. He's using his shoulders to put pressure on the neck of the wrestler, and that wears you down after a while, Mike.
You'll notice in December, a lot of good wrestlers like Marcus are more interested in mat time than a 10-second pin.
And I think that's what he's doing now.
He is.
He's just rolling with them. He wants to get on the mat. He wants to wrestle competition.
He is.
Got himself in a little bit of a bind right now. Spread himself out.
He'll come out the back door.
Work his way out.
Stalemate.
Stalemate by the officials.
You notice the officials are going back and forth. So one will officiate, one will be the mat judge. Nobody gets tired that way.
12-2. Northmor. We have 49 seconds left in the period. And this is the second period.
Officials both live in the Marion area.
Nice. Double leg takedown.
2.
Another 2 points. That's one of the greatest sounds in a big gym when you hear all the fans yell, 2.
He's got a 12-point spread, so he'll probably go for the near fall here.
Yeah.
Or the fall.
A near fall is when you are up by 15 points. It's called a tech fall, and the match is officially over at that time. Back in the old days, I can remember wrestlers running up 30-point leads. The state decided we'll end that real quick.
Yeah, that was a good decision.
It was. Now, once you get to 15 points, it's called a tech fall, and it's over. Again, Marcus is in on the leg. He's really done a nice job on his single leg and double leg takedown.
He scored 14 points, and we're only 2 periods in.
Yep. And this is red choice. I'm looking at them both up. Willard takes up.
Yeah, just trying to field a lineup this year. It's a strange year in many ways for coaches.
And it is. It's tough in every sport.
Yeah.
In every sport, it's tough. And you got to take your hat off to the coaches and to the wrestlers.
Ooh,
you
nice.
Stay with it.
Right to the head.
Yeah.
Just see him look right for the head. He knows the score, and he doesn't. He just went right for the pin.
He's up 16-3. He's got the leg tied up. He's got the arm bar. Here's another tilt, tilting him over, getting his back points. And once he comes out, and the official gives him the points, 2 points back. He won. He had He had 15 or more point decision.
5 team points.
And you're going to get 5 team points. You get 6 for a pin. 5 for a team for a tech fall, 4 for a major, 3 for your decision.
Here comes another junior for Northmor. This is Dylan Amons. His brother graduated last year, a state qualifier, wrestles for Otterbein this season.
Down there with Rhett?
Yeah, down with Coach Rastetter.
Rastetter, he was the coach at Lexington, ran a heck of a program. I think he won the Gorman like 6 or 7 times in a row, and then he went to Otterbein to start their wrestling program down there.
And Doug Short is his assistant.
Yes.
Doug Short coached at Marion Pleasant. I believe Marion Pleasant won the MOAC last year. I think they are the defending champions. Fine wrestling conference, the MOAC.
Yep. And right now we have 2 wrestlers kind of tangled up on the mat right now. Nobody has any points. Nobody has control on the mat.
That's a freshman on the mat for Willard named Aiden Bates.
And they seem to have a young team. And right now we're going to toss it down to Brian Skowronski, standing by with our winnering wrestler.
All right, I'm standing by with Marcus Cortez, a dominating performance there in your match. Just tell me how did it feel to be back in action and perform as well as you did?
Oh, man, it felt pretty good. Haven't practiced in about 2 weeks and just had to stay in my shape and stay control of the match and just do what I do.
And I noticed no seniors on this team. You're one of the junior leaders, and I imagine one of the captains out here. Just tell me about that role for you and what it's like being a junior, being looked up to as one of the top dogs.
It's kind of nice. You wrestle since you're a freshman, and you been around this program for a while, so what's going on, and you just step up and you take big roles, man, and it feels good.
All right, man. Congratulations on a big win.
Thank you.
All right, we'll send it back up to Bruce and Mike.
And we're back on the mat right now watching two wrestlers. Nobody has gained control. What that means is that you have to have control in the eyes of the official, and once he sees somebody has control, he'll going to give you 2 points for the takedown. And right now, these two young men are tangled up in a big mess there, Mike.
Yeah, they are.
But it's early season, and what we're doing is just watching, seeing what happens. They're getting mat time. It's so important for these wrestlers to get mat time. So at the end of the first period, we come up with a 0-0 score.
Northmor, you know why they call us Northmor, Bruce?
I couldn't tell you there, Mike.
We're the northernmost school in Morrow County.
There you are.
Hence the unusual spelling, North, M-O-R.
There you are. I always thought you spelled it just wrong.
I'll tell you what is wrong. A lot of people will just call us the Knights.
Yeah, Golden Knights.
We are the Golden Knights, not the Scarlet Knights, not the Red Knights. We're the Golden Knights.
And right now we have two wrestlers. One was down. The Willard wrestler, all he's got to do is get away. He wants to get his 1 point, get the escape. Northmore's got to get him back down on the mat.
Oh, he's got both legs now. He should get his 2.
Yeah, there he goes.
Work up.
Stalling on green. The officials, they make a decision. Are you progressing? Are you moving forward?
Oh, he caught him for a lock.
Lock hands. What that means is anytime you're sitting on your knees and you're on the mat, they are going to call you for locking hands. You are not allowed to lock hands when your knees are on the mat. And that's what he did. To try to get him back down on the mat, he locked his hands. It's a penalty point, 1 point for Willard. Willard goes down. Northmore's got to keep him on the mat. If he gets away, he'll get 1 point for an escape, or he can get 2 points for a reversal if he goes from the bottom to the top. Northmore uses the far ankle to keep his man on the mat. He's keeping his pressure on the wrestler's shoulders, trying to keep his head down, trying to work the arms, kicks the legs out. One of the things I used to tell my kids when they're on the bottom is grab the wrestler's hands. Get hand control. Once you can take the hand control away from the wrestler on top, you have a little bit more control and can try to get your best escape.
Well said.
Now, Northmore has locked hands, but he's in a pinning combination. He's going to try and pull him over, and they call this a cradle. This is the near cradle.
He's got that cradle.
He's got the cradle. He's getting back points.
See the official ticking those seconds off, those back points off.
And if he can get the 5, if you see the official count to 5, that's a 3-point back point. 3 points on the back. Counting some more. Once the Northmore wrestler broke the hold, the official will give you the points. And he received his points.
He only gave him 2. He must have gone a 2 or 3 count and broke it. Yeah.
Then he wiggles and gets his back off the plane.
Exactly. So the Northmore wrestler enters period 3 with a 2-1 lead.
He's going to take the down position. I always thought, if you're a good wrestler, we always put my wrestler down because it's easier to get points off the bottom. You can escape, you can get away. Right now, the Willard wrestler is cautioned because he was in the wrong position. You have to be in a particular set position when you mount the wrestler on the bottom. Bottom wrestler tries to sit out, works his way back up. Right now, the pressure. Oh, nice toss.
High hips win on the mat. High hips win. Low hips win when you're on your feet.
And right now, the Willard wrestler is a little bit more control.
He's got high hips.
Yep. The Willard wrestler he's got to work for back points. Right now, he's in a position where the only way he can get points is to turn the Northmor wrestler over. He's got to get his back exposed to the mat somehow, some way. And a lot of wrestlers, if you can't do that right off the bat and you know you're behind, you'll just kick him out. Now the Willard wrestler has a half in. It's deep, Mike. He's got a deep half in, but he let it go.
He was not off to the side. You're not going to run that half when you're way behind those hips.
Yeah.
You got to get off to the side to run that half.
And that's just inexperience right now. You need mat time. You need to be on the mat to learn where you have to be, how to finish a move, how to finish something up. Northmor is slowly trying to work his way off the bottom.
He's getting his hips up.
Yeah. We're down to 40 seconds in this match. Northmor is ahead 2-1. Stalemate by the official. And this is a good call.
Tell him what a stalemate is, Bruce.
A stalemate is when the action has come to a standstill on the mat. When there's two wrestlers entwined in a particular position, neither one has an advantage, and there's no action happening on the mat. The official will call a stalemate, and he'll restart them. Northmor wrestlers working hard to stay off the bottom. He's got to keep his head up. As I said, Willard, the only way the Willard wrestler can get any points is the back points. He has to get Northmor on his back. He's got to expose that back. He's got the half sunk deep. He's running the hips.
And he is out to the side now.
He's out to the side.
He's not hanging behind. That's a good.
And it's a good counter by Northmor. When the person starts putting the half in, what do? You try and peel it off and you raise your head up.
He's fighting those hands.
And right now we have a penalty point on Willard. When you run the half, you can only put one hand on his neck. As soon as you put both hands on his neck, that's called a full Nelson, and that's a penalty point.
You know, the Willard wrestler did get the penalty point, but the Northmor wrestler might deserve a little credit for creating that situation. He ripped off the half from one side. The Willard wrestler jumped it in on the other side, and then he was jumping back and forth with the half. And the next thing you know, he got called for a full Nelson. So the Northmor wrestler wins 3-1, and we're on to the next weight class.
And that was a nice match. Again, you got two young men early in the season getting mat time. And one thing I like to see, Mike, these wrestlers wrestling early in the season, then watch what happens when the big tournaments start coming up. Now, this year, a lot of things have been canceled. The Marion Harding tournament is canceled. The J.C. Gorman.
I hadn't heard the Marion Harding tournament.
Yeah, they canceled it out. And right now, we're at the 152-pound weight class. Mike, who we have out there for Northmor?
We're watching a senior from Willard, Ashton Ames. They're one of their two seniors in the lineup, and a young man from Northmor named Caden Martinez. He's only a freshman. So we got a freshman out there trying to wrestle a senior. That's kind of rough.
And it is. But the one thing I like about wrestling, you weigh it in on the mat, on the scales, and you're wrestling somebody your size.
That's correct. But, you know, to the Martinez kid credit, he's in the varsity lineup as a freshman.
Yeah. And you know, one thing people don't understand about wrestling is that even though it's a team sport, you have 14 guys in the lineup, you are an individual on that mat. And there's no lonelier place to be than on a wrestling mat when you are in trouble and you're looking at the lights and somebody's barreling down on you.
That's correct. You don't want to see the lights. But on the flip side, there's nothing more gratifying than having that referee raise your hand at the end of the match, knowing that you accomplished that.
And you look at wrestling, and what's it take to be a great wrestler? And, Mike, you've had some of the best wrestlers, and we're going to talk about Dalloway, an old match at the Gorman a little bit later here.
Dalloway tweeted me just today. I still stay in touch with the Doberman.
Yep.
He's out in Arizona right now.
Yeah.
I stay in touch with a lot of the old boys.
But talk to me, Mike. What's it take to be a number one wrestler in Ohio? to go to the state year after year?
It's tough to enter a sport like this as a freshman if you haven't grown up with it. So a lot of our wrestlers have grown up through the grade school and middle school program. In fact, right now our middle school program is flourishing. They've got 20-some wrestlers in just 2 grades. Just 2 grades, 20. Now, they're not all going to pan out. Some of them will decide, I want to try this. I want to maybe focus on this sport or that sport because, that can happen when you get to high school. But clearly, you have to have, if you're really talking about competing for a title in the state tournament, you have to have a foundation. You just can't expect to jump out there based on athletic ability.
And right now, the Willard young man, he's working towards his pin. He's got a 3/4 half in there. He's got the leg tied up.
He's a senior.
And it's going to be tough. That Northmor young man, he's got to really work to get out of this predicament he's in, and there's the fall. And like you said, Mike, the biddy programs anymore are so important for a wrestling program.
And that's what's going to happen this year with our biddy programs. Sometimes the biddy programs are going to struggle with school restrictions.
When Ontario went through their great wrestling periods with the Olds and the Turnballs and everybody else that was coming down the line, the one thing that they had was a great feeder system. I started the biddy program at Ontario. We went K to 4. We had those kids wrestling, and they got to get that base under them early.
Amen.
And once they got that base under them, they enjoyed it, and they kept working on it. And you'll filter out. Your kids will keep coming. But right now we're at the next weight class.
Well, we just saw Nico Cristo get a forfeit for Northmor. Nico is a junior who was a state qualifier last year. We had 5 qualifiers last year, but 4 of them have graduated. He's our lone returning state qualifier. He just collected 6 points for Northmor, so now Northmor takes a 20-9 team lead. 20-9.
And we're going to toss it down on the floor to Brian. He's going to talk to the winner of the last match. So, Brian, it's all yours.
All right, I'm standing by now with Ashton Ames, the senior wrestler for Willard, and congratulations, a pin victory for you. Tell me about the satisfaction you get coming out here, putting on a nice performance like that.
Working hard at practice with my team every day, coming out trying to wrestle the best we can. Feels good knowing that I got to win for my team, and hopefully we get it done today.
Tell me, how important is it, quality reps like this? I mean, you're a veteran now, a senior. Getting into early season wrestling, how valuable is this for you?
It's real valuable. I mean, it shows a lot of kids where we need to be, who needs to work harder, and where we need to be at towards the end of the season.
And then just give me a bit of an insight to your team overall collectively. What are your expectations for Willard wrestling this season?
We started off the year with quite a few kids. We've dropped due to pandemic and stuff, but with who we got, we're working hard every day, and we should end up with a pretty good season this year.
All right, man. Well, we look forward to following you along your journey, and congratulations on a big win.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll send it back up to Bruce and Mike.
Thanks, Brian.
Good job, Brian.
Yep, and I think we got it back up here. Right now we have 2 wrestlers going at the mat, doing a nice job. And the one thing that interview brought up, mat time, is so important for these wrestlers to get their mat time. And a couple of months ago, we didn't know if we're going to have wrestling, Mike.
You got to take it day to day at this juncture in any sport. You don't know whether the basketball team's going to play, the football team. I mean, what's Ohio State going to do this weekend,
Right. That's right. Michigan bailed out on us, but we're at the 170-pound weight class right now. Colton
Brammer. Colton Brammer. He's only a freshman for Northmor, but I really like this kid. He's a gutsy kid who won't quit. He's got true grit.
And we're talking about wrestlers. You have to almost create a wrestler. You start them out in biddy wrestling, and they start to work their way up through the system, and And the one thing they do is they get a lot of reps. You know, they go to these biddy tournaments all over the place. And around here, Northmor has a biddy program. Galion has a biddy program. And if you have a strong biddy program, you take a look at your wrestling team, you're going to have a pretty good wrestling team.
Amen. Amen. You're just not going to step onto the mats as a sophomore or junior in high school.
And that's one thing that, when you talk about wrestling, Mike, you take a look at Ontario football team this year. They had a couple walk-ons, I like to call them. One was Curtin Colts and the other one was Schaefer. Good athletes. They step on the football field and they made an impact immediately.
That can happen in football where you need so many numbers.
And you're right. In football and basketball, that'll happen. We just had a pin on the mat right there. The Willard young man pins the Northmor.
I think we're sitting at 20-15 now as a team score.
Team scores. Willard's making a run back at him. But the one thing that really impresses me is that they went out for football, and they made the team. They did some great things. They made that football team better than it was. But it's really tough to be a good athlete and step on the mat if you've never wrestled before. If you've never wrestled before, and try to make something happen.
Amen.
You could be a great athlete and you step on that mat and, wow, it could be a problem for you.
Northmor threw another freshman onto the mat.
Northmore's got a lot of freshmen in the lineup tonight.
They do. This is Corey Miller. Northmor does have a lot of freshmen in the lineup. As I said, they graduated 4 state qualifiers from last year among 6 seniors in the lineup.
And that was a quick pin by Willard.
And it gave Willard the lead with 1 weight class to go, I believe. I think each team only has 1 wrestler left.
And this is the heavyweights.
Northmore's going to throw a pretty tough kid onto the mat here. This is Gavin Whited. Gavin was honorable mention All-State football lineman.
And this is the 220-pound weight class. I love this weight class because this is your linebackers in football. These are the athletes who can move. They're your outside linebackers. Sometimes they're your defensive ends. But you watch them on the mat. They have the agility. They can move. They still have the slim, trim figures on them. They have natural strength to them. These are the young men who big-time colleges recruit to play football for them.
And you can tell in the opening seconds that both of those young men know how to wrestle. Look at their feet move.
One thing you want to do in wrestling is you never want to cross your feet. You want to keep a good base underneath you. You want to be quick. You want to be able to move.
This is a good match, but I was wrong. Willard does have another wrestler left, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be the deciding factor because this is our last wrestler, so it looks like Willard's going to take the duel match with a heavyweight. But, of course, we've still got some lightweights to go. We've got some lightweights.
And we're going to send it down to the court, and Brian Skowronski standing by with our winner.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. I'm standing by now with John Rothauer, the senior wrestler for Willard. This is our first live stream for wrestling this season, so tell the kids at home what they just saw from you and how you were able to establish yourself and get the pin that quick.
Mostly I played with the head, got head control, got him where I wanted to, let his head fly up, just wrapped him up, got his shoulders down, and that's how I won.
Well, obviously, very impressive individual performance, but as a team, it now puts you guys in the lead. How much does that actually weigh into your thought process? It's mostly an individual game, but obviously you're competing as a team. Tell me about that part of the sport.
I try to go for pins every time, but, I mean, you obviously want the most team points as you can, but I'm more concerned like individually, but team is definitely something like if you're like a couple points away, you gotta like push yourself just that much harder to get those few points, so that way they don't get like that major decision or that tech fall to get that extra point that they might need.
Well, you took care of business, and you did it in really quick fashion, so congratulations on a big win today.
Thank you.
All right, we'll send it back up to Mike and Bruce standing by.
Nice job on the interview there, Brian.
Good job, Brian. This is the match of the night as far as I'm concerned so far. The opening period, you saw the Willard wrestler. His name is Logan Hamilton. He's a sophomore. Take a shot at the end, and Gavin Whited, the Northmor wrestler, floated for 2. So Northmor enters period 2 ahead 2-0.
And right now, oh, nice switch. That's a move that you don't see a lot, Mike. The old switch, that was probably one of the first wrestling moves I ever learned when I was at senior high.
A switch is a basic move, and I think the Willard wrestler, in an attempt to stop it, locked. So, but Gavin just pinned. So Northmor now jumps ahead 26-21, but I was jumping ahead with team scores a few minutes ago. As an old coach, I probably shouldn't have done that, but I knew Northmor did not have a heavyweight, so here comes a forfeit. Willard jumps back in front, 27-26.
And speaking of keeping score, long time ago in the J.C. Gorman, I was running the tournament, and a lot of your tournaments in the older days, they had specific things that they did. And one of the things the Gorman did, they didn't give points in the constellations for advancement. And so when I took over the tournament, that's one of the things that I had a hard time trying to change over to the Federation rules. And I can remember Mike, after every match, he'd come up with that scorebook. He had every point listed. He'd say, Bruce, you forgot a point for me. Bruce, I'm a point short. Bruce, what happened here? Bruce, what happened here? And it took me like 2 years before I could change it to the Federation rules and make Mike happy. And that's when he had the powerhouse teams down there, and every point means something in a big tournament.
Amen.
But yeah, you remember those days? You'd come up to me, I'd be sitting in this chair, and you'd say, I want to see the score sheets.
Well, that was my job. I was the head coach, and I had to fight for team points.
And right now we got the 2 lightweights. One of the things that happens in wrestling now, they used to start with a lightweight and work our way up to the heavyweight. Well,
now
that doesn't happen anymore.
Now they'd flip and just take a weight class.
And we're going to throw it back to the floor. Brian Skowronski is with our winner at the 220-pound weight class.
Gavin Whited.
All right, thanks, guys. I got Gavin Whited with me now, and, big pin for you. Put you back in the lead. Tell me about the move that you had to make to get into that position and ultimately get the pin.
My basic plan was he's kind of bigger, so you got to wear him out. So I saw that he's getting tired, so I just put in the half and pinned him.
How much fun is this being back out here in action? I know a lot of things have been canceled and postponed, so being back on the mat, I guess, just how gratifying is this?
I'm very grateful. It's like going in, you don't know if you're gonna have a season or not. And I'm just glad to be out here.
Well, your victory put you guys on top right now. It looks like, actually trailing by a point, so it all comes down to this match. How confident are you in one of your young guys getting a win?
Yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
All right, thanks a lot, Gavin. Appreciate you, and nice win for you, bro.
Thank you.
All right, send it back up to Bruce and Mike.
This is the last match of the duel meet, and those are 2 freshmen out there battling it out.
And I love the lightweights, Mike. When you get those young kids out there, they're going at it. And the lighter weights are usually your younger kids, your freshmen and sophomores.
These are both freshmen. This is Brandon Sykes for Willard and Cohen Hurst for Northmor, 2 freshmen that are about to do something big for their school.
And it used to be in the old days, they start with the lightweights and they'd work their way up to the heavyweights. Then they decided to flip a coin. Wasn't fair always having the heavyweights being last. So now you flip a coin, figure out where you're going to start the match by pulling out a card. And they started at 113 tonight.
An interesting sidelight to this match. The lightweight weight class is 106 pounds, but sometimes those young men just don't weigh 106. Now, the Willard wrestler weighed in at 105.9, so he just made weight. But Cohen Hurst, the Northmor freshman, weighed in at just 93.7 pounds. 93.
90 under 100 pounds.
So he's giving up over 10% of his body weight at that light weight class.
And it's tough. When you have a tournament right now with wrestling in high school, it is really tough sometimes to fill those lightweight classes.
Well, you got to walk the halls when you're a coach.
Yeah. And right now you can see the Northmor wrestlers sitting on the sidelines throwing out instructions. Move, 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 work for it.
Northmor is ahead 6-3 in the match, and let's just say it like it is. The winner of this match is going to bring home a dual meet victory for their school, because the team score is 26-27.
And right now, Northmor is doing everything he can to stay in control. What that means is he's got to have control of the wrestler on the bottom. As soon as that changes, 2 points, there it is, the reversal for Willard.
Well, he's sure not going to muscle this kid giving up so much weight. But, you know, he's light enough that he'll probably be able to wrestle 106 as a sophomore, and those kind of situations can really turn into magic seasons.
Right now, the Willard wrestlers looking for the cradle, trying to get some back points. He's still behind. The
6-5.
team, the individual match is 6-5. 20 seconds to go in the second period. Northmor just trying to stay off the mat.
Hands. He's locked his hands.
And that's just inexperience.
Yes,
there,
it
Mike.
was.
He
yes,
let
it was.
go of it. I think.
But the Northmor wrestler knew to come out on top.
Yep. And that was just inexperience. All he had to do is keep his hands locked. I think he panicked a little bit.
He rushed the cradle.
And that's just a little bit of an experience.
Yes, sir.
You got two young wrestlers going at it.
Two fine young men.
This is probably could be their first match of the year.
When they stand on their feet, though, you can see that Willard wrestler is a good 10 pounds heavier.
And we have a caution on Northmor. He has to put his foot on the line before the official will call it. You get 2 cautions before you get penalized. Nice little takedown here, Mike. Nice. Oh, get your head out.
Nice form if he's strong enough to finish it. But again, he's actually 13 pounds lighter.
Yep. Now he's got himself in a predicament.
Well, he certainly had a nice takedown there. He just wasn't strong enough to finish it. But again, body weight.
And that's a tough decision. And that's tough when you wrestle somebody that weighs a little bit more than you do.
Takes guts.
It does.
You got to admire the young Hurst boy. Willard's now ahead 10-6 with a minute left.
The Northmor wrestler, with all that weight on you, and every time you push off the mat, energy just drains from your body, especially when you're a little bit lighter than your opponent. And when you're a 106-pound weight class, it's a tough weight class. Every weight class is tough.
Amen. It's not a sport for the faint-hearted.
And that's one of the things I really like to talk about. The difference between being a wrestler and being a football player or a basketball player, everybody has their own commitments, but when you are a wrestler...
Oh, he locked. Yeah.
Technical violation.
There's just no place to hide on that wrestling mat.
Yeah.
2 young men are going to toe the mat, and they're going to battle.
And the one...
Hey, this is suddenly 10-9.
Northmore's down 10-9. He needs 1 point. All he's got to do is get away, get off the bottom. He's got 15 seconds to shake himself loose.
My goodness, this has ended up as a fine duel match, regardless who wins.
Yep. And it was a nice match. 2 young wrestlers out there, and all they're going to do is get better as the season goes on.
Amen. Fine match. Neither one should be disappointed.
And it ends up the dual meet, Willard 30, Northmor 26.
We'll live to fight another day.
Yes, we will. We have another match coming up with Galion. And Galion's got a real nice team this year.
The Galion Tigers, they're a lot like Northmor with a seasoned coaching staff, several teachers on staff, and if you'll notice, Coach Jim Wiggison is out there. He's probably not going to sit in one of the premier front chairs, but Jim Wiggison's one of the old coaches that coached back when you and I did, Bruce.
Yep.
And his grandson's in the lineup tonight.
And his dad is probably a tremendous wrestler at Galion, and he's also one of the top wrestling officials. So
yes, he is.
Wrestling is in their blood. It just goes
Brady
right
Wiggison.
to him.
Brady Wiggison.
And
Hey.
I did a little of everything. I coached, I officiated, I was on the mat, and I know a lot of these guys, and the work and dedication they have is just unbelievable. And right now we're taking it down on the floor to Brian again with our winner. Brian, it's all yours.
All right, thanks, guys. We're standing by now with Bryden Sykes, who just came up with a big win, and you got the victory for your team. First, tell me about that. Had to come up with a clutch performance, and you got the W.
I just tried my best, and I didn't do great last year, but I'm hoping I can turn around this year and just try my best, see what happens.
Tell me about coming up to the varsity level, playing in high school now where you were in middle school a season ago, and it's been so weird with all the different restrictions and stuff. How hard is it starting to get into the flow here in the early portion of the season?
It's pretty weird. We didn't get as much as a head start as we wanted to, I think, and so, in turn, not as much practice, things like that, and it just seems like we're a mile behind, but it's going.
All right, man. Well, hey, congratulations on getting the win and, putting Willard on top there over Northmor. Congrats, bro.
Thanks.
All right, well, that's going to wrap up the first part of our 3 head-to-head duels that we're going to have for you live and free on the OH Report. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. We will have Galion and Willard going head-to-head right after this. Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health. Believe in we. Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community.
We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health. Believe in we.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the Northmor Wrestling Complex. And I'm sitting here with Mike Skeleton. We just saw Willard and Northmor go at it. Two teams early in the season. Mike, what do you think?
Well, it's going to be tough for Willard to win this match simply by numbers. Galion, look at their lineup. I think they're going to field 13 of the 14 weight classes, and Willard's only going to field 9 of the 14.
Yeah, that gives a lot of forfeit points out there right then.
Yeah, right up front.
You know, and I was talking earlier, one of the things that makes wrestlers different than any other athlete is because if you're a basketball player, when basketball practice is over, you go home and you just chill out. When football's over, you go home and you just kind of chill out. But if you're a wrestler, the one thing that's always on your mind is weight control. You are always a wrestler because you are always thinking about weight control. What can you tell me, Mike, about weight control when you were coaching?
You know, I think the average fan believes every wrestler in the lineup is losing weight, and that's just not the case. Usually about a third of your wrestlers are wrestling right what they weigh. A third of the wrestlers are maybe even giving up some weight, like we just saw that Northmor lightweight give up. And then a third of the wrestlers are probably losing some weight. So they're managing that Thanksgiving dinner, managing their weight, and maybe after that Saturday tournament going on a Sunday afternoon run to as you suggest, keep your weight at the 145-pound weight class or whatever.
And to me, that is tough.
Yeah, it is.
When I was a coach, and right now we have Galion on the mat taking on Willard.
I think we're starting at 120 pounds. Nice slide by the Galion wrestler.
That's Broden Butcher out there for Galion.
There's Coach Wiggeson back there in the back row.
He's always where the wrestling action is.
His grandson's on the mat tonight. Now, Bruce, I got to say hi to my 2 grandkids. How are you out there, Fireplug? How many? You got grandkids, Bruce?
I got 5 of them now.
Oh, you're blessed.
Yeah, it is a blessing. Right now, Galion has control of the match. He has a 2-point takedown, working for the control, looking for the pin. Again, early season, these kids are going to make mistakes on the mat. They're trying to find their niche in the lineup, where they fit in. They're trying to get their weights under control. And with this COVID right now, it's really been tough. It's thrown an extra burden on these wrestlers' shoulders.
You know, and the coach, too, because if you're not able to practice for a few days, it's not just a skin check and a temperature check when they're coming back in for practice. It's get on the scales. Let's see what you weigh this week.
Right now he's going for the 3/4. That's where you put the head and one arm in, try and pull him down. As long as you have the leg hooked, you can pull him under. To counter that, you keep your head up off the mat and you work to get to your base. And you can kind of see the inexperience going on right now, Mike. Both wrestlers are just kind of feeling themselves out. Nobody's really pushing the pressure.
Well, nobody's in great shape either at this point in the season. You don't want to peak in December. Wrestling, Bruce started this broadcast off talking about the important matches at the end of the year and culminating in the state wrestling tournament. That's what these wrestlers really are chasing.
Galion had her choice. He decides to go down. To me, when I was coaching, I'd always put my wrestlers down because that's the easiest place to score from. You could get off. You can get a 1-point escape. You can get a 2-point reversal.
Well said. Caution stalling.
Caution stalling.
Look at the 2 Galion brothers over there coaching.
Oh, yeah. They do a great job.
They do.
They really do.
They really do.
Matt and Brent.
The Terrells.
And right now, Willard has control. Galion's on the bottom. Needs to get off. Needs to get up to his base. Trying to switch. Stand up. There he's got the leg. Now he just got to work his way around. Crossface. Push him away. Should be a 2-point reversal, and there it is. 2 points green. Galion is now ahead 4-0. Second period. 1:20 left in the match in this period.
I see the Galion athletic director over there.
We have the Galion, Kyle Ball.
Yep.
He's a great wrestling coach.
Yes, he is, and that's why I mentioned him.
Yep. He has some great stories about Dustin Fox, who was a national champion in college and in high school.
Wasn't he a 2-time state champion?
I think he was. Yes, he was.
Caution.
And that's a potentially dangerous.
Potentially dangerous.
And the officials explaining to the wrestler, it's early season. The officials are going to help out all they can. If they're doing something wrong, they'll kind of explain why I gave you the caution. The number one concern of those officials are no injuries, keep everything safe.
The safety of the wrestlers, and that's why he cautioned him that move is potentially dangerous.
And before it became a dangerous if somebody got hurt, that's what they did.
Yes, sir.
Called it off.
It looks like a brutal sport, but it really is. It's not. You don't see that many injuries in wrestling like you do in some other sports. You get some bumps and bruises, but most of these kids are going to walk off the mat.
And the thing that with me, injuries in wrestling, when you watch two wrestlers who are the same weight, have the same abilities, it's a counter, recounter,
chess match.
Counter,
chess
counter.
match.
Exactly, Mike. It's a chess match. One wrestler does a move, you counter that move. Another wrestler does this, you counter it. And how fast you can counter sometimes wins you the match. Right now, the score is 4-0. Galion is ahead. This is the third period, final period. Both wrestlers are up. Somebody's looking for a takedown. Nice shot by the Galion wrestler. Didn't follow up. Had the single leg. Pops his head. Both wrestlers are standing on their feet. The pressure's kind of on the Willard wrestler right now. He's behind in the match. The Galion wrestler can counter. Basically, the Galion wrestler doesn't want to do anything stupid. He wants to keep on his feet, keep leverage.
And my wife is texting me we need to give some names out more often. So the Willard wrestler, that's Connor Robbins out there. He's a junior. He's going against Kidron Clark.
No, that's Broden Butcher's out there right now. This is the 126-pound weight class.
Okay, against Connor Robbins.
And Broden's got the single leg. Then he couldn't pull it in. Now the Willard wrestler putting a little pressure on him. Bad situation to be in, Galion. This is a 5-point move. It's going to be a 2-point takedown and back points. Broden's got to work hard. He's got to try and get hand control. And there's the pin. And that's just inexperience early in the season. You make a little bit of a mental mistake.
Now
Next thing you know, you're on your back.
Watch, the official will not raise a hand. He'll just raise his own hand.
Yeah.
He raised the red, signifying Willard.
And right now, 6-6 on the mat.
Okay, I'm going to try to do this here. Okay, so right now, 1 is up. 2, you were going to get our interview.
So Willard doesn't have a 32-pounder.
All right, so we're going to take all of this down right now.
Galion's going to send out a 32-pounder to collect a forfeit.
Okay. Ian's going out. Ian wins, gets his hand raised by the official.
When I say 2, take 2.
And that's 6 points for Galion.
And
we're going to throw it down on the floor right now to Brian and the last winning wrestler. Brian?
Hey, thanks a lot, Bruce. We're sitting here with the winning wrestler, Connor. And, dude, take me through the technique there at the end. How'd you pull off that pin?
I think at first I was going a little too easy. And then I realized he had a way better, stronger grip than I thought. And then at the end, I noticed I could get a lock on him. And to be honest, I was going for a spladle, but that's perfect for me. I got the win for the team. It's really all that matters at the end, right?
Sure. Tell me a little bit more about, just early season. You guys haven't got to be on the mats a whole lot. Just how valuable is this time out here getting to go against two quality teams?
Well, I'm running short to where I'm almost done with wrestling. So this right here is like really important to me because this might be all I get eventually. You never know. Maybe they'll shut us down eventually. So as long as I can wrestle my hardest every single match here, that's all that matters. And I treat every match like I'm wrestling the state champ.
Well, you definitely put on a great show for us and got a big win. Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, let's go ahead and send it back up to Mike and Bruce standing by.
And on the mat, we have Galion and Willard going at it. Galion is ahead 8-0 right now.
Give us some names, Bruce. I think we're looking at
This is the 138-pound weight class, pretty sure.
Caden Barnett and Devin McCarthy.
And what's happening is we're looking at a tech fall here. This is what happens when you get a wrestler that has a little bit more experience.
Well, the Barnett name is a long-standing fine name within the Galion wrestling community.
And he's just working his time, taking his time. Gets another 2 points. He's now up 13-0. He's looking for that tech fall, 2 more points, and it's over. We have 4, 3, 2, 1, and the period is over.
Tech fall in the first period.
Yep. 16, and that's it. And that's what happens when you get an experienced wrestler that's been wrestling for years against somebody that has little experience.
I'm sure that young man grew up wrestling.
Yep.
My 2-year-old grandson already understands belly down, belly down.
Yeah, I had some teams that we'd practice working off our backs, and we'd sit there all night and we'd say, okay, off your back, off your back. We're at the 45-pound weight class right now.
Aiden Bates and Jacob Story. Aiden Bates is a freshman for Willard. Jacob Story is a freshman for Galion.
And I like this weight class. To me, this is a premier weight class. They have skills, they have quickness, they have speed, they can make things happen.
These are young men.
And Galion gets the takedown. Jacob's doing a nice job. He's got to start working for a pin. If not, the officials give him a stalling warning.
He's controlling the hips, though.
Yep.
He's controlling the hips. Remember when we used to have riding time?
Oh, yeah.
They still do that in the college ranks.
Yep. What riding time is that if you're a wrestler, he's got the cradle locked up. Jacob's got the cradle locked up. He's working the edge of the mat. Can he pull him back on, though, Mike? There's in somebody with the cradle. It really is. Unless you're a veteran wrestler and know how to exactly pull your hips away and push his hips away.
But he racked up 3 near fall points.
And Jacob gets 3 near fall points for that. He's now ahead 5-0. 51 seconds left in the first period.
These high school periods are 2 minutes in length, 3 2-minute periods. The college match we talked about earlier is a 3-2-2.
Jacob takes a second. He's on top still. 5-0.
Scoring is basically the same in college, except they do riding time, and we no longer do that in high school. Haven't for a long time.
And what riding time is that when you gain control of the wrestler, like right now Jacob has control, the clock would start. And you have riding time. And if you can accumulate a minute more riding time than your opponent, you get an extra point. And they did away with that. They did away with it, and I think it was a great thing they did. Because when we had the riding time, there were certain wrestlers that would get on top, and they'd just milk the clock.
Yep.
They'd stick the half in, or they stick the legs in.
Stick the legs in.
And they would never work for anything. Right now, Jacob is doing a great job.
He's going to run out of time, though.
Yep.
Period over.
First period's over. He gets 3 back points on that. Or did they give him 2 on that, Mike?
They gave him 2,
And he's
we're
up.
and we're headed to the third period, I believe.
Yep. Score 7-0. This is the choice was Galions. Jacob decided to stay up. And some wrestlers, they feel more comfortable on top. Some feel better both on the feet. And Jacob from Galion decided both wrestlers will be up. He's going to work for the takedown.
Getting good on your feet is a good way to have your hand raised. Take them down, let them up. Take them down, let them up.
Willard wrestler tried to throw by. Galion wrestler Jacob, he just ducked his head, slipped around behind, gets 2 for the takedown. He's now up 9-0 in the second period. Minute 25 to go. He's 6 points away from a tech fall. Anytime you go up by 15 points on an opponent, the match is automatically over. He locked the standing cradle. He still has a cradle locked. All he's got to do is jump to the side, elevate the leg, push the hips away, and see if he can't get him on his back. And sometimes when you have a wrestler, Mike, that's got those long arms.
The Barnett boy that just wrestled was tall with long arms.
And
yeah, you're right. Long arms.
When you have long arms, you love working those cradles. You wrap it around. There it is. He's going to pull him over, rack up some more back points. You're going to take your knee and stick it in the hip of the wrestler on the bottom and push it away, elevate and lock. And, when you hold that cradle, you're not expending that much energy. But to get out, to get off the bottom, you really got to work your tail off.
I was a cradle man myself in high school.
Yep. I used to love the cradle. We had the near cradle, the far cradle, the standing cradle, the Eckert cradle, the Tinker cradle, you name it, we ran them all.
Little couple club names there at the end.
Our little kids in junior high, we had a wrestler named Tinkum, and he used to do the 3/4 and hook that leg, and we called it the Tinker cradle, and boy, did he get good at it.
Club names can stick.
Yep. And right now, Galion, Jacob Store is up 12-0. He needs 3 points for a tech fall. Both wrestlers are standing again.
I think Willard chose on his feet for the third period.
Yeah. Sometimes when you're in trouble like that, you don't want to get on your back. Why give him the bottom?
Well, he's looking for the throw.
Yep.
He realizes down 12-0. He has to have the home run throw. And who doesn't love a throw? The crowd loves a throw.
Everybody loves a throw by. And the old headlock. The headlock was one of the first moves I ever taught my junior high kids. And then the second move was how to get out of the headlock.
Well, you have to, before you're going to learn to counter it, you have to learn the move.
Yeah. So I teach them how to do the headlock. Then once you hit that headlock, the next thing we taught them was how to get out of the headlock.
Basics of wrestling.
Yep.
There's Coach Carr, the head coach of Northmor, right down there at the scorer's table.
Done a great job with these kids.
Yes, he has.
Really has.
Been the head coach a good 10 years.
And right now, Galion lets him up, gives him a 1 point. He wants to take him back on his feet. He's up 14-1, 13 points. All he needs is a takedown, and the tech fall will be completed. And you were right, Mike. Oh, that's going to leave a mark.
Oh, the Willard boy comes out. He's down 14-1, and he's got the Galion boy on his back.
Yep.
This
early season mistake. Early season mistake. And this is what's exciting. This is exciting.
Down 14-1 in the final 20 seconds of the third period.
And you were right. He wrestled on his feet so he can get a takedown like this.
He was looking for the throw.
And we got 10 seconds. Can Galion get out of it? He's trying to keep that shoulder blade off the mat. And Adrian Bates is putting the pressure on him right now. 3, 2,
exciting finish.
1,
Exciting
and it's
finish.
over.
It's going to be 14-6.
Yep.
Still an 8-point swing, good for a major decision. And 14 points.
Good match, good match. And again, I love it. The Galion wrestler, he's a cradle man. He worked for the cradle. That was his move. And he almost got caught at the end when the throw went by.
Wow, we're about
Ended
to
up
see a great match coming up here. You're seeing that fine Willard Sr.
He had to pin the last match.
and he's going to go up against Sam Wigginson.
And you talk about a legend name. Wigginson name goes way back in wrestling times.
Several generations.
Yep. Sam's Galion wrestler.
These two young men will know what they're doing.
Yep. It's in your blood. Some of these wrestlers is just in your blood. So we're at the 152-pound weight class.
Incidentally, Sam is a junior. The Willard boy is a senior. That's Ashton Ames.
And Galion's looking for the throw. Upper body wrestler. And you can tell, look at the physique on the young man.
They both weigh 152 also.
Yep.
Nobody's
Nobody has a weight advantage.
no, this is an evenly matched bout.
And you have two wrestlers who have wrestled before.
You know, I wouldn't doubt that they've seen each other somewhere in spring tournaments or maybe junior high.
And these kids know everybody. They know who's in your weight class. They know who goes up a weight class, who goes down a weight class. Sam's in trouble right now from Galion. Willard takes him down the mat.
He's got the leg. He's got the leg.
And that's just wrestling experience. He pops out the back door.
Wrestling right there.
Yep.
Skilled wrestling.
2-point
Sure,
takedown.
I'm sure Dad's watching this somewhere, probably on TV, and smiling.
And what we're going to do now is take it down to the floor for Brian. Brian, who you got for us?
All right, thanks, guys. I'm over here on the Galion sideline, and I've got Jacob Story, who just pulled off the victory. First, take me through like those last 20 seconds when you were on your back. You were dominating the whole time, and then you get put in the compromising position. Take me through that.
I guess I just tried to push a little too hard at the end. I was already tired, and he put me in a situation where it could have put me out, and I guess I fought back, and he had more energy than me, I guess. And it was very tough when I looked up at the timer, and there was still a lot of time, and I thought I might have been screwed, but I guess I turned out on top.
Outside of that, you were very dominant. Take me through early in the season. Will you try some different things? Like it felt like at times you were kind of toying with them, just to try some different moves. Would you say that that's true and that's standard in the month of December normally?
Yeah, usually. I'm not very good on top, and I was on top half the time, so I was trying different things, trying to see what would work in that situation to try and get better.
Well, we hope that you continue to improve here throughout the rest of the season, and hopefully we get the season, man. Best of luck to you moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, we'll throw it back up to you guys.
And right now on the mat, Sam from Galion. Sam Wigginson is up 5-0. Right now there's a potential dangerous move. Sam's knee was in a weird position. Willard had it out, and the official wants to prevent injuries, so he called it potentially dangerous. Takes back both wrestlers to the wrestling position.
Good match.
And it is. When you have two equally matched wrestlers out there, it's one of the greatest things you'll ever see. And Mike, one of the things that you and I can talk about all night long, and here goes Sam, he's got a double bar, trying to get him to his back, getting himself some back points. And this is just experience. He took his time, slowly worked it in, was able to roll the wrestler over, and he gets a pin on it.
Very impressive.
Yes. And that's a wrestler that's wrestled before. Both of them have.
Well, that Willard wrestler at the end of the year is going to have a winning record.
Yep. Nice job by Sam.
Dad's going to be proud, huh?
And Grandpa.
Congratulations, Brady and Jim.
Landon Campbell, Galion steps out at 160 pounds.
I'm thinking we got a forfeit here.
Yep. So we're going to jump right to the 170.
Remember, Willard's only wrestling 9 wrestlers. Galion's got a full lineup. They may have one forfeit. Could be a double forfeit.
And here we come up right now at 170. We have Cooper McCabe from Galion. And when you look at the two wrestlers, they might weigh the same, but look at the physical difference in the two wrestlers right now.
Cooper is a sophomore, and he is one muscled young man, isn't he?
Yep.
Wrestling another sophomore named Kylan Lindsay from Willard. But definitely that Galion wrestler spent a lot of time in the weight room. Look at it. Look at it.
Double leg, gets in deep on it, works right to the half. Got to keep him on the mat.
Bruce, as long as they're off the mat, we can talk about strength. You won't win wrestling matches based on strength, but strength makes technique work.
It does. It does.
You can always come up against another strong wrestler, but you got to have some strength just to make technique work.
And the Willard wrestler tried to take a shot on the Galion wrestler. McCabe was able to counter it. Gets a takedown.
Quick stack.
Stacked him up. Pulling his back points off. Now he's got the half in. He jumps out to the side. There's your veteran wrestler.
Yeah.
Putting his weight on him.
He just jumped from one move to another there to get the fall.
Move after move. And it's fluid. It's fluid.
You know, that's the way it goes in most sports. In basketball, same way.
And what Cooper did, he did one move after another. He got him down on the mat, and then he worked to this move, and then he goes to that move. And the transition from one move to the other move was effortless.
Like those Galion singlets, don't you?
They look cool. You used to have some of the weirdest uniforms I ever saw in my life sometimes.
We always had multiple sets.
Yeah, you'd come to the regular match with one, then you'd go to semis with another, and then you go to the finals with another one. Holy smokes.
You can't expect those poor kids to go out there in a sweaty uniform for the next round.
Nick, go ahead and get a wide shot, and then we're going to tighten down into them.
And right now, Galion's dominating in the upper weight classes against Willard. Spoke too soon. Willard, nice move out there. And right now, we're going to take it down to the floor to Brian. Brian, it's all yours.
All right, Cooper McCabe, a big winner at 170. Tell me about the setup there and how you got the pin.
His stance was super sloppy. So once I sunk down to double, I knew I was going to get it. And he shot slow, so I just took advantage of it and went behind.
And you guys, you got a big advantage right now, 39-6 lead over Willard. Tell me about the big picture expectations for this Galion team and what you've been talking about in the early parts of the season.
We got a really solid lineup, so I think we can beat pretty much anybody. We got solid everywhere, so I feel good about this season.
Well, it's going well for you so far. Look forward to watching you as the season continues on.
Thank you.
All right, send it right back up to you guys.
Along those lines, Cooper, a solid lineup, not just in depth, but in quality. The MOAC should be a real battle this year. Marion, Pleasant, think about some of those teams. Ontario, wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be a run, and I hope they're able to. Nice single leg takedown. Galion doing everything right now.
Yeah, the Galion wrestler, obviously, is a little more skilled.
Got to get out to the side. He's got the half in deep, pulling the arm, putting the weight on it.
This is Max Fisher, I believe.
Yep.
Isn't it?
Yep. Max is doing the job out there, and he gets the pin.
Max is a senior. He's not fooling around. It's his senior year.
Stand by one. Go ahead and get a very wide establishment.
This looks like it's going to be a forfeit, and then we'll come up to the heavyweight match.
Oh, you guys already switched. That's all right. Hang tight. Just keep it there for a moment.
And there's the forfeit. Now comes the Galion heavyweight with the Willard heavyweight.
No, I think this is 220.
Yeah, I think you're right.
No, They're calling this as Caden and Logan. That's what they're calling it.
Yeah, this is 220.
Yeah, this is 220. He wrestled 220 last time.
This is Caden Roberts for Galion.
Slow one.
Caden Roberts is a junior, and he's wrestling Logan Hamilton, a sophomore for Willard.
And once in a while, when you get to the upper weight classes, it becomes an upper body wrestling match. Very seldom do you see these upper weight guys go for the legs. The last thing they want to do is get caught underneath all that weight pushing down on top of you. So they wrestle upper weight body a lot. A lot of times your first period will go 2-0 or 0-0. No action. Two wrestlers just kind of dancing around, feeling each other out. Then will come the second period, and then you got to start making a decision. Who goes up and who goes down.
Have you noticed Willard, speaking of uniforms, is wearing several different uniforms tonight?
Yep. I like the flashes.
Yeah.
Galion gets a takedown, 2 points. One of the first things you got to do if you're a wrestler and the coach yells, let him up.
He kicked him out.
Kicked him out.
1 point for the escape.
And he's going to try and double his score. I used to call that takedown, let him up. Takedown, let him up.
Well, it's not just a 2-point takedown. You can discombobulate a young man when he's being taken down and put him onto his back. So sometimes those near falls and falls happen after a discombobulating takedown.
And I've seen wrestlers who are good at takedowns, but they can't do anything else, and all they do is take you down. Right now, Galion's got him on his back. He's got his chin in his shoulder, and he's grinding it.
Yep.
He's got a hold of the chin. He's pulling the chin one direction. He's using his weight.
But
now
he's running out of
across.
time. And now they're going to have to debate.
The two officials are going to go over and said, did I raise my hand before I was tapped?
I thought it happened right at the buzzer, which makes it a fall.
Yep, I think you were right, Mike. Yep, green wins on the pin. Galion pulls it off. Now we're going to go to the heavyweight matches.
Here come the heavyweights. Here come the big boys.
Richard and Alex.
This is a freshman named Alex Griffith for Galion, and a junior named Ricardo Gomez for Willard.
Oh, and this is something you don't see often. A heavyweight grabbing the leg, pulling it down.
Oh, he's playing takedown. How about that?
And you can see the coaches on the sideline telling him, hey, we're going to let him up.
A freshman heavyweight who's playing takedown.
Yep.
Look at him hip from side to side, too.
Yep.
He moves well for a big boy, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's probably one of your offensive linemen. And right now we're going to take it back down to Brian on the wrestling mat. Brian, it's all yours.
I'm here with Caden Roberts now. Awesome victory for you, a nice pin too. Tell me about the satisfaction that you get here early in the season, coming out and dominating like you did.
It just leaves confidence for the rest of the season. You know, being able to go out there and wrestle my match, and just continue to go and work harder.
Obviously, it looks like you got a ton of talent out here on the Galion team. Just give me big picture expectations. A couple of the kids I already talked to, so that they're pretty big.
Yeah, we think we really got a shot at the league title. And that's one of the main goals of the season. You know, obviously everybody looks towards that Chase championship, but it'd mean a lot to get a state or a league title.
How key is having early season success like you're having right now with guys just kind of coming out here and controlling their matches?
Morale just gets boosted in the room. You know, being able to come in and win is big. Go in and have confidence and that makes you want to work to get better.
Well, right now, Galion certainly season control of this match. Send it back up to you guys.
Hey, that Galion heavyweight was pretty impressive.
I liked him. He could move. He can move. He had good footwork. And a lot of times when you get to the heavyweight division, they're a little slow and monotonous.
Not that young man. Remember that name, Alex Smith, a freshman.
Alex Smith, freshman, has a pin.
Fine-looking young man.
And now we're back at the beginning. This is a 106-pound weight class. Connor Gonshorn from Galion and Brian Skiles from Willard.
And these young men both weighed 105 point something.
And right now, Galion, they're looking for another pin. He's got him on his back. Pin!
You always look at the weight when you're wrestling lightweights, the disparity in size, but those two young men were the same size.
And what a quick match and pin. That had to be the fastest pin of the night.
Gallion's loaded, aren't they?
They are loaded.
69-6.
And when you got good coaching, you've got a nice-looking team. You got every weight class filled. Good things are going to happen.
69-6. I think we saw 13 of the 14 weight classes filled. There was a double forfeit in there somewhere, but Galion up and down the lineup looked impressive.
They look solid. And the thing I like about them, they're aggressive.
Oh,
they go after it. They go after it. They're not going to sit back and make things happen.
No, they know what they're doing. They'll contend for a league title, and that is a big deal, winning the league. That's, you talk about it being an individual sport, but it's also a team sport when you can bring home that league title. Brian's doing a good job down there talking to those kids.
And they get their 30 seconds of fame on TV on the show. And right now we're going to take it down on the mat to Brian. Brian, it's yours.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Hey, what a dominating performance by the Galion Tigers right there, basically running roughshod through the Willard offense. They still got the big main event coming up, though. They're going to be taking on Northmor, cross-city rival, and that's going to be going down live and free next. Right after this, we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back here at Northmor.
Ohio Health is the official sports medicine provider of Northmor High School. Available 24/7 to care for your athletes with same-day appointment options. We keep your athletes healthy and in the game. Ohio Health is proud to partner with Northmor High School to provide a healthier community. We are healthcare experts close to home, serving teams, parents, and all of Morrow County. Ohio Health. Believe in we.
And here we are again at Northmor High School. We've seen 2 duel matches, very good wrestling, and now we're in for the highlight of the night, Northmor versus Galion.
I love the way Brian said cross-city rivals. He's kind of right.
Yeah.
Because we are known by the Ohio High School Athletic Association as Galion Northmor.
And now, look at that plaque. What's that plaque for there, Mike?
Well, we'll talk about Galion Northmor. Galion Northmor is how we're known. But hilariously, we're not even in the same county as Galion.
Yeah,
Galion is in the very south of Crawford County, and we have a postal address for Galion. But we're in Morrow County, and again, that's why we're called Northmor. We're in the very tip of the northern end of Morrow County, hence we're called North MOR, Northern Morrow County. So, but the schools are only miles apart. 9 miles apart, so many of these kids know each other quite well.
And they do. That's what's fun. They wrestle each other all summer long, and it goes way back. And the more wrestling you get, the more you get to know these kids, and the more they know each other. And
even their families.
Their families know each other.
Galion High, Galion Northmor, about to do battle. Look at the coaches talking to their teams over there.
Getting them psyched up. But, Mike, before we go any farther, you and I have been in this coaching business and officiating business for a long, long time. But there's one match that I will never, ever forget, and that was the Dalloway Old match in the finals of the J.C. Gorman. And I know the build-up was great. Everybody was waiting to see those 2 wrestlers on the mat. The old gymnasium at Mansfield Senior High was packed. There were people hanging from the rafters, and it came down to the finals. And Senior High at that time, they had 3 mats out there, but everybody focused on the center mat for those 2 young men. Mike, tell me about it.
It was entertaining. Many people to this day, 20 years later, still talk about it being the greatest wrestling match they've ever seen in high school. And I got to tell you, it probably was, even though my young man lost that night. Now, we went on to win a state title that year, but we were defeated in overtime by the old boy from Ontario, and it was a barn burner, like Jimmy Crum used to say.
Yeah, and it was a classic. And one of the great things, everybody was watching it.
Oh, my
you could
goodness.
Look at the other mats came to a stop.
Many people, well, because it went into overtime, it lasted longer than the 5th and 6th and 3rd and 4th place match, and many people ended up on their feet watching that match.
And I can remember looking up from the scorebook where I was working. I looked up in the rafters, and there were people hanging in that old gym, in the old gym at Senior High. And you could hear a pin drop in. 2-2, the fans were yelling. And one of the nice things that I really liked about it was that the official that had that match was a veteran official in Larry Castle.
Larry Castle, good man. God rest his soul.
Yeah, he passed away, but I can still remember him being on the mat. And there were some other officials at the Gorman that day, and you get a name going on. Well, we don't like that official, this official, we don't know if he's good enough for it. But when they put Larry Castle out there, so you have the 2 best wrestlers in the state, each of them dominated their their matches that year, and you have one of the best officials on the mat, and then it goes to overtime. The pressure on Larry Castle to get through that match was unbelievable.
It was a memorable night. I still remember CB Dalloway, like a gentleman, shaking that young man's hand and walking off the mat.
And it wasn't too long ago they had a reunion at the J.C. Gorman. And Steve Warner, who is now the director, he took over for Doug Castle. And he likes to bring back things, and he brought back C.B. Dalloway and Mr. Ole. And I'll tell you something, Mike. 20 years later, those 2 young men look like they were in the fit health. They look like they could have went another round right there. And it was a memorable night.
Well, of course, CB needed to be in shape. He was fighting in the UFC.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
He went on to wrestle for Arizona State University.
And what a match. And there were other matches that went on, but every once in a while the Mansfield News Journal will put up something and say, hey, what is the greatest match ever at the Gorman? And that match will always come up as one of the best, and it was. I was there that night.
Amen, brother. I see CB had all the wrestlers. If you think the head coach does it all, well, the head coach has very competent assistants if he's going to run a good program.
Yep.
You just can't do it all by yourself. And as I look over at Northmor, I see 4 or 5 very competent assistants for Coach Carr right now. But I also see tucked over in the corner the assistant that coached CB Dalloway a lot. Joe Parsons took care of CB, and his son will be in the lineup for Northmor in this next round against Galion.
And that's one thing that I used to always try and stress to my wrestlers when I was coaching, in the middle school and JV kids. I said, you don't get better at wrestling by beating up everybody in practice. You get better by being challenged in practice. You get better by having somebody put you in a particular situation, and how do you work off your back, or how you get out of that situation. And if you go into practice and you're always wrestling somebody that's going to, not give you a challenge, you're not going to improve as a wrestler.
Well said.
You have to be challenged at practice. And a lot of times you don't really have somebody that can wrestle a Dalloway in practice. So what do?
You bring in those assistant coaches.
You bring in these assistant coaches. Yeah. You bring in some big guns, and you work them.
Yeah.
You work them.
Now, Joe's not coaching anymore. He's older like me. He's just the father of a wrestler. But as I look over at the Northmor assistant coaches right now, I see some some mighty fine young men over there. There's Jeremiah Howe. Remember what a good wrestler he was in high school?
Oh, yeah.
Jeremiah was largely responsible for taking out the Becker boy in practice last year and giving him a match, because who's going to wrestle a returning state champion on a high school team? Well, the answer is that 30-year-old over there.
Well, I'm going to tell you this, too. Long time ago, one of my sons, Travis, wrestled Biddy before he turned over into basketball. And we had a Biddy wrestling tournament at Ontario, and the only loss he ever had was to a young lady named Shirley. Wrestled for you.
We were one of the first high schools in the state to throw a girl onto the mat, and we were mighty proud to do so, Jessie Shirley. Hey, speaking of Parsons, we're going to start off with a Parsons in the lineup for Northmor.
And we have
That's
wall
Tyler
out there.
Parsons.
Yep.
Tyler Parsons is only a sophomore.
And this is the 126-pound weight class.
No, I think they're wrestling 45 first now, aren't they?
They're going 45 right now?
Oh, this is just...
this is an exhibition match.
This is an exhibition match.
And what you want to get your young men as much wrestling as you can. So what happens is, if the officials agree to it, you'll take 2 wrestlers who are not in the lineup, put them on the mat, and let them get that mat time. And as Coach Skeleton here has said, you need that competition mat time to get better and better. Right now, Tyler Wall from Galion's got himself a 4-2 lead.
Tyler's going to win this match because they're both named Tyler, huh? Or is that Trevor Wall? I think that's Trevor.
Yeah, it's Trevor. Galion and Northmor.
And there's the names right up on our screen.
Yep.
We're covered by competent people here.
I'm glad somebody knows what's going on around here, Mike.
Yeah, the color commentator may not know what he's doing. That's me. But the gentleman seated to my right knows what he's doing.
Oh, nice throw by Trevor Wall. Puts him right to his back on the Northmor, and there's a quick pin.
But we got some mat time.
Yep, you got the mat time, and I'll guarantee you that young man from Northmor will probably never, ever end up in a predicament like he just got.
He wrestled in grade school and then got involved in other sports in junior high, and just decided to come back out his sophomore year. So he's going to need a little time on the mat to get caught up.
And that was your exhibition match. And I think now they're bringing the captains out.
Here come the captains.
And what they're going to do is the official's going to sit there and they're going to go odd or even. You have 14 weight classes, and somebody's got to make the decision. And what the official's going to do is flip the coin, and it'll be red or green. And whoever wins that toss, they're going to have a choice of either odd matches or even matches, and they're going to be able to say up or down or whatever at that time.
Well, you know, Galion's got a good team. They just sent 4 captains out there.
And those 4 kids have
just
think how much wrestling time they have in.
They deserve to be captains.
But the one thing I like, you look at that Galion mat. At the one end, you got the brothers who are the coaches, and at the other end, you have the legend.
Yeah, Jim Wigginson.
You have the legend there. So this is a 126-pound weight class. This is Broden Butcher out there from Galion.
And Northmore sending out Brant Randolph.
And sometimes we get confused up here because actually you don't really know who's going to send who out on the mat. Sometimes coaches will move things around.
Bryant Randolph is only a freshman for Northmore.
Nice throw by Galion.
But as you said, Northmore's got a number of freshmen in the lineup this year. Again, 6 seniors graduated and 4 of them went to state. So you're bound to just have a little bit of it.
Broden's rock and roll. I used to call that the rock and roll move. You just kind of rock and roll to get out of something. Both wrestlers are on their feet, 2-0. Broden Butcher is ahead from Galion. And he's going to end up with 2 more for a takedown.
Broden's a 10th grader, in case anyone's interested. Broden weighed in at 125.1. Bryant weighed in at 121.5.
We're in the first period. We have about 50 seconds to go. Galion's in command with a 4-1 lead. Working for the cradle right now. Anytime a wrestler on the bottom kind of balls up and they bring their legs up to their chest.
If you can get that knee to the head, you've got a cradle.
And there's your cradle. Now he's going to put his knee in his side of the Northmor wrestler and push him away. Oh, my body hurts right now, Mike. It hurts. That is a very bad position to be in.
Well, at our age, our bodies hurt all the time anyway.
Yeah.
Huh?
You go to bed feeling good and you wake up in the morning sore. But right now, Galions has a cradle on it. He's got it deep. He's just kind of holding on and taking his time, watching the clock. He's got 5 seconds to hold it. He's going to get 3 back points out of this.
Young wrestlers, remember that. Never get your knee up around your head. Sometimes when you stand up from the bottom, you'll make a mistake and get your knee up by your head. A seasoned wrestler will jump to that cradle.
Yep,
You gift it to him.
They had a wrestler in Ontario, Eckert, and every time he would let the man stand up because as soon as he stood up, he would put the Eckert cradle in him and rock him back, and boom. Right now, Galion's on the bottom, looking to get the escape. Turns into the man. Anytime you can turn into the wrestler, and then he tries to throw.
I'll tell you what, these are 2 tough kids.
They are. They're working at it. 1 point for the escape. As soon as you cover the legs, work up the body, he's going to get 2 more for the takedown.
2 tough kids.
Galion is ahead 10-1.
That Northmor freshman isn't backing down an inch.
And what's nice, Mike, this is early season. What's he going to look like in 5 weeks, 4 weeks?
Well, in a normal year, we know the answer to that.
Yep, they're going to get better and better.
Amen.
Yep.
Let's just pray that we can stay in that practice room.
Now, the one thing that Galion's working for, he's got the leg hooked. He's going to try and reach underneath, see if he can't get that head pushed down. Northmor young wrestler's got to get his head up. Got to get his head up off the mat.
You're never going to go anywhere if your head's buried in the mat.
We're going to look at a potentially dangerous move here if we can't get that leg back. And there's the cradle.
It's over.
And that was a good one. Nice pin.
Galion looks pretty good, but these next few weight classes, Northmore's going to run out some seasoned wrestlers.
Well, you're going to bring up, I always love an even match.
We'll see what happens.
Yep.
Galion's lineup's deep.
And you can see that you can only put 13 on the mat because he's got a forfeit at 1, but he's got a nice team behind him also.
I didn't see a weak wrestler in their lineup.
I think this is the forfeit.
We're going to have to forfeit a weight class.
Yep. And this is a young man. He's all excited. He's going to get
all right.
that forfeit.
He made weight.
You make weight. You've earned it.
That's right. He made weight. He's practicing. He deserves to have his hand raised.
This is going to be a good match. This is Ian Lehman from Galion at 132.
Wrestling Marcus Cortez from Northmor. Marcus Cortez was that quarterback I told you about in the first round. Ian is a senior. So we've got a junior from Northmor wrestling a senior from Galion. This will be a battle.
This is going to be a good match, and it's a great weight class. Year after year, this weight class, 132, 145, they're always tough. Always tough.
You can tell just by the dancing on their feet, they're both athletes. Look at them.
They can move.
They're like two quick cats out there.
And their techniques are almost the same. Watch them.
Wide stance.
Wide stances. They get the hand down. They keep their balance. They can counter.
They're just feeling each other out right now, trying to decide who's going to try something first.
Both of them played football.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's not. We didn't want to see that throw.
He tried the home run.
Yep. But look how quick he is.
But he never got control.
Never.
He tried the home run.
Yep.
Didn't get it.
When you do that home run, it's called a lateral drop. You got to be in the right position, and your opponent's got to be pushing into you a little bit. You don't want to pull him. Oh, nice double leg. Nice double leg. Northmor had a real nice shot on that.
That was a nice shot. Now if he can finish.
Now he's got to work up. Galion, Ian's got to work, stay on his feet. Don't go down on the mat. Nice counters. Nice counter.
Wow. Wow.
And there's the 2.
This is high-level wrestling for December.
Yep.
This looks like the finals of a Christmas tournament, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Scores 2-1 right now. Both wrestlers are becoming a little bit more aggressive. They felt each other up. Ian tried that throw again.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He's got to abandon that throw. Marcus has got that schooled.
He's got that countered. He knows how to control his weight.
25 seconds left in period 1.
Scores 2-1, Northmor.
Again, low hips win when you're on your feet. High hips win when you're on the mat, but young wrestlers, low hips win. And that transcends to football, too.
Yep.
Think about it. Low hips in football.
Yep, keep your low man wins on the shoulder pads. And
I see our head football coach and our offensive coordinator down there on the table, and they're down there for a reason, not just because they're good school employees, but they understand that their football players are getting good mat time.
Second period, Galion decides to go down. Again, it's easy to get points off the bottom. Become an escape artist. Quick stand-up. There's his stand-up. Control the hands, hips. Nice counter by Northmor.
Incidentally, both those football coaches wrestled for me.
Yep.
They were good, too.
Who did not wrestle for you, Mike? That's probably a shorter list.
Well, back when I coached, kids didn't have the opportunities or the gaming systems or the internet, so we did have some bigger teams.
Yep.
Wow, did Marcus look good there?
Yep.
Did Marcus look good there? Wow.
Yep. And one thing Ian's trying to do is he's trying to get the big move with the throw.
This one looks over to me.
And Marcus,
Cortez is
a good wrestler, good counter wrestler.
Yeah, he is a counter wrestler. You're right. He ran out of mat space there. Yep. He ran out of room. But wow, did he have him? Oh, I hope he's okay. The Galion wrestler got up.
But the thing that you're right, Marcus, Ian from Galion will throw a move. Marcus counters it.
He has so far every time. Yep. The score is now 5-1. We're in the second period with 1:10 left.
Pull out from there. There you go. Stop.
Nice sit out by the Galion wrestler, but
Northmor did a good job of following.
He did.
He
followed his hips.
When somebody sits out, you stay with the hips and just roll with them.
Float behind.
Marcus lets him go. Both wrestlers up. 5-2 is the score. Nice double leg takedown.
Deep.
But Ian.
Deep.
Oh! Headlock.
How about that for stringing moves together?
Yep, there it is. Double leg, work it up. Headlock.
Stringing moves together.
You can. A lot of coaches say the headlock is a junior high move, but I'll tell you what, right there we just saw it.
We've had wrestlers win the state finals with headlocks.
Yep.
In fact, Galion's first state champion, Ryan Heber, who went on to wrestle for Ohio State, used a front headlock in the state finals.
Yes, and his dad is retired now. He was the eye doctor. He was my eye doctor. Every time you go in, we talk Ohio State wrestling and Galion wrestling.
Dr. Randy Heber, optometrist.
Yep. Ian's working. I'll tell you what, nice job by Ian's not getting pinned.
Young man can bridge, can he?
Yep.
But the score is now 10-2 as we head into the third period.
And it was Northmore's choice. Both wrestlers up. He wants to wrestle on his feet. Doesn't want to get underneath.
Why not? He's taking him down every time.
And he's putting the pressure on Ian right now. Ian has got to do something. He is behind. He's got to be the aggressor. Where Northmor, we're just going to sit back and counter. Whatever you do, I'm going to counter you.
What happened there?
Looks like he got a little poke in the eye. Going to bring them both back. Neutral position. Both wrestlers on their feet. Got 1:30 to go. Galion is down by 8 points. He has to be the aggressor. Northmor just kind of sitting back. Northmore's kind of thinking right now, Mike, well, I'm just going to, whatever he does, I'm going to counter him. Whatever he does, I'm going to counter. I'm not going to be aggressive.
Galion's so deep that the team score, let's face it, just with forfeits, Galion's in a deep position to win here. So you got to think about your own match score.
Yep.
You don't have to go for the pin here. You just got to go for the win.
Yep, and you're right on that. Scores 10-2. We're looking at a major decision right now. 1 minute to go in the match. Ian from Galion has to make something happen here. And again, Northmor. Looking for that ankle pick. Got the ankle.
And he's going to hold on to it and bleed that clock as long as he can.
Yep. It's going to be a stalemate here pretty soon. Action.
That's okay. Time's on his side. Yep. He knows what he's doing. He's no freshman.
And he took a peek. Did you see him peek at the clock? Took a peek at the clock. He's just going to wait and counter whatever Ian does.
Don't look at the clock too much. The officials see that.
Yep.
not just the seasoned Bruce Weirich.
Yep.
The officials know what they're doing.
Oh, there's the 2 points for Ian.
Yeah, but there's 20 seconds left.
10-4.
Find the line.
Nice stand-up. One of the first moves you teach your wrestlers is a stand-up. Then from there, they can develop their skills. As you said, put one move together after another one.
7-point win. 11-4.
And there we are. Nice match. Nice match. Two good wrestlers.
Yeah, you're right. Two good ones.
And they're just going to get better as the year goes on.
Two fine young men that I hope end their season well, too.
Right now, the score is 12-3. Galion is up.
This is an entertaining match coming up.
And I like it. Both wrestlers are physically built the same. They got those long arms and tall. I'm looking for cradle. I'm looking for a cradle in this match here.
This should be a good match.
This is the 145-pound weight class.
This is Dylan Amons from Northmor.
And Devin McCarthy, Galion. 145-pound weight class. Northmore's in on the single leg. Can he hold it? Can he pull it in? No.
Devin is a senior for Galion. Devin McCarthy.
Devin gets himself 2 points on the takedown.
Dylan Amons is a junior.
And look for Devin to start looking at cradle. In his last match, he ran the cradle, worked on it. Northmore's working, keeping his head off the mat. When you get a wrestler that keeps his head off the mat, it's tough to run the cradle.
He kicked him out.
Kicked him out, gives him 1. 2-1. Both wrestlers are up.
Both wrestlers.
Throw by.
Both wrestlers won their first match.
Yeah. Nice little throw by Devin from Galion.
Fortunately, the internet makes people think it's on their end, but eventually it's not going to come back. So I'm going to try switching forward.
He's got the cross face with a far arm, trying to pull it in. Wrist control.
I'll bet that guy in practice room has some spirited.
Kicked him out. It's 4-2 now. Devin.
Success can breed success.
Galion Devin feels like he can do the job on his feet. Another throw by. A throw by is where you grab the young man's elbow and kind of pull him by you. You throw him by. Gets 2 points.
Kind of an arm drag.
Arm drag, same thing. Now he's got the arm bar. Tilt. Pulls him over. Getting some back points. Hard to pin a man in this combination. That's usually for back points. He's going to get 2 back points, and Northmor gets 1 for the escape.
Nice freestyle move.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. And we're going into the second period. Galion is ahead, 8-3. Northmor defers to the third period. Galion is going to take both up.
A lot of these experienced wrestlers are just going on their feet.
And you see that more and more, Mike. Nice single leg, pops out to the side, lift and trip. Lifts it.
Look how tall these kids are.
Yes. This is just technique wrestling. Takes him right to his back.
Every time I switch, I'm not too sure why. Just give you a heads up.
He's got that locked up as a cradle, doesn't he?
And he's got it deep. Bingo. There it goes. Pin for Galion. Devin McCarthy, 145-pound pin.
And I think that makes the team score 18-3, Galion.
Yeah, it's definitely locking up. All right, Judy, you're going to be the interview. Hopefully it won't lock up.
It's this young Mr. Wiggerson coming up. Sam.
Yep. Sam is quiet, doesn't say a word, says hi when he passes me in the hallway. But boy, the young man can wrestle. And
Yes, he can.
When you have a father who wrestled, now's an official, and your grandfather was one of the coaching legends at Galion in the whole area, it's in your blood.
Well, he's taking on Caden Martinez, a freshman for Northmor.
And Sam's in on a single leg right away, gets 2 for the takedown. Sam's kind of a no-finesse wrestler. He's just going to...
Caden will fight, but Caden's up against too much in this match.
Sam's just going to work on you, and he wants to get off the mat.
Caden won't back down.
Yeah. And right now we're going to jump down to the floor. Brian, talk to the champion.
Our 132-pounder could have a match today.
All right, I've got Devin McCarthy with me now, who just wrestled up a weight class. First off, tell me about that, having to take on somebody that's about 7 pounds outside of where you normally wrestle.
Well, every day in practice, I wrestle a guy that's 20 pounds heavier than I am, so it wasn't that big a difference.
Take me through the finish and how you got the pin set up and took him down and then made it all happen.
So when I ended up taking him down, he landed on his side, so I slipped in the half and my leg hooked his, so I kind of squeezed it together, get that cradle, and finish it out.
And I know you were a district qualifier for this team a season ago, and a lot of your teammates said they look up to you and you're one of the leaders on the team. Tell me about filling that role and what it means to you.
Well, I just come out and work hard every day, try and get others push as hard, so we can be a good team this year.
Well, things going well for you here today. Hopefully that continues for you guys throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, we'll send it back up to you guys.
And right now, and here we are, Sam Wiggersey from Galion is ahead 6-3. It's coming to the end of the first period.
I like that tiger paw right on the front. It says Tigers.
Yeah. You know, Sam came out, was very aggressive early. Kind of had the Northmor wrestler a little confused.
That ends period 1.
But I'll tell you what, the Northmor young man did a nice job. Staying off his back, working.
He'll give you all he has.
He deferred. Both up. Second period. Galion's ahead 11-3 on the mat, 18-3 on the team score.
Look at that. Underhook. Force the action.
And there it is. That's just strength. You kind of overpower a wrestler right now. When you do a move like that, that's just, you're a little bit stronger than your opponent.
Yeah. But he has the technique.
He had the technique.
Strength makes technique work again.
And there's the pin for you. And I had Sam in class, and I think he might have said 12 words the whole year.
Teaching computer?
Yeah. We got a little woodworking class, and outstanding student in the classroom.
Here comes Northmore's Nico Christo. Nico's a returning state qualifier, so he certainly knows what he's doing. Played several positions for us this fall in football, did well.
Very good football team this year. And I'll tell you, I love the football facility here. The all-turf football field, unbelievable.
Yeah, Northmore's blessed many ways. Our superintendent and board have done a nice job. There's our athletic director over there. He was instrumental in that turf field being installed.
Nice wrestling out there. Counter.
New all-weather track out there. We're about to upgrade all of our outgrade facilities without any kind of additional tax dollars.
That is great.
We just
able to do that.
We just had the $5 million in the bank.
Yeah. And you can start to see the excitement out there. Oh, both teams The score right now, team score is 24-3, but because of the match going on out there, that's where the excitement is.
Yeah, we're going to ignore the team score when it's Galion versus Northmor.
Nobody worries about the team score.
In December. We're looking at mat time.
And that's all we want to get done right here. Right now, it's a 2-1 score. Galion is ahead.
Oh,
nice.
Oh, my
move.
Goodness gracious.
The old headlock. There it is again, Mike.
That was a violent one, wasn't it?
It was. It was.
He's got it locked tight.
Nice job by Galion, working out of it.
Going to take his 3. Now he's shifting into, well, I'm not really sure we'd call that a crossbody.
Nope. Gallion's trying to work his legs over.
He's doing a good job
getting a little bit of control.
Getting his hips up.
All he's got to do is put the half in. Oh, there's 2 for the reversal. Nice wrestling, both wrestlers.
So 4-3 Galion now.
Could have went either way on that call there, Mike.
4-3. 20 seconds left in the first period. This one is a dandy. This is what you pay the price of admission for, but they let me in free tonight.
Yeah, I got in free. For some reason, Media Pass does a lot for me. Again, nice match, but look at the excitement on the Galion side.
Well, that team should be excited.
They are excited about
loaded.
it. Yep.
They are loaded.
You got the adrenaline flowing. Northmor tries a switch. It was countered. Locking hands on Galion. It's a big advantage when you're on the mat and you lock your hands. And that's a penalty.
So
that's why it was a penalty.
4-4.
And Coach Carr wants to talk to the officials, so he comes over to the bench.
That's Coach Christo. That's one of the assistant coaches.
And he's going to talk to the official. And he did it correctly. Instead of standing at the chair yelling at the official, you go to the scorer's table, raise your hand, explain to the official what you saw. He'll tell you what he saw, and it's over.
I always talk to the officials correctly, didn't I, Bruce?
Yeah, I remember. I think we had to tie you in a chair a couple times.
I was a little high-strung, but I'm better now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we had to tie you in a chair a couple times, and officials stood beside you, and your assistant coaches held you back. But that's one thing, you always fought for your kids.
God bless Darren Howe. He kept me out of a lot of trouble. He was a great assistant coach.
You always fought for your kids. And, you know, there's been a lot of great wrestling coaches. One of the, Jeff Schwall at Ontario.
Yes.
And then you come back with Spillman at Madison. And unbelievable. I became a better wrestling official and a better person running meets because of Jimmy Spillman.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You run the Gorman, baby.
And Jimmy Spillman, he would push the envelope, but what a coach. He would get the advantage for every wrestler he could.
I want to point out that Coach Spielman married a Northmor mat stat.
There you go. And what a match this has turned into. We have 40 seconds going in the second period. Galion is ahead 5-4, and we got 2 wrestlers out there just going at it.
Yeah, this is a battle.
Yeah.
This is the kind of battle that would be meaningful in a seating meeting like the Gorman.
Yep. And that's 2 points for Galion, Northmor.
2 points for Christo.
Christo gets 2. He's now up 6-5.
Yeah, this is the kind of bout that would mean something in a seating meeting later this year. But now I'm just not sure we're going to have any of those tournaments.
Yep. But again, you got 2 wrestlers out there, and it was a counter move to a counter move to a counter move, and Northmor came out on top. We're going into the third period, 6-5. Northmor is up. Northmor is going to go down. That's always been my choice for my wrestlers. I tell them to go down, get an escape, get a reversal. If you're on top, the only way you can score is to turn your man to your back.
Third period with the lead, and you're down. That's a good position to be in.
A very good position to be in. It forces the man on top to be aggressive. He has got to get back points. Now, some wrestlers at this point, the coach will say, kick him out. And if you can't get him on his back, you're going to kick him out, and then you're going to go for the takedown.
A lot of coaches will, oh, right there. That's questionable.
Yep. But as time goes on here, you might see one of the Terrells tell him, kick him out, kick him out.
I think you will. I think you will. Most seasoned coaches will give their young man a chance to fall, to turn for the fall. But now that the clock is approaching 1 minute, you question how much longer that strategy is going to.
And we're looking right now, the Northmor wrestler is a pretty seasoned athlete. He is not going to roll over on his back.
And he's finding a line. He knows what he's doing.
And
he can't get in trouble over there.
And he's got hand control. He's got hand control. He's controlling the Galion athlete's hands.
Again, he's ahead 6-5. There's 58 seconds left in the final third period.
And and if he can't get him on his back.
Not a good first move by the Northmor wrestler.
But the Northmor wrestler's got a good base on him.
Yeah,
he knows what he's
doing. Wide.
He's keeping his head up.
He's just ticking seconds off that clock, isn't he?
Yep.
But eventually somebody's going to have to get called for stalling here. And there it is.
There it is, stalling on red.
There it is. No. He cautioned Christo for stalling.
Oh, Christo, yep. Locking hands.
Galion locked again. Wow. And Christo took advantage of it.
And he's got it.
He got a 3-point move there. He got the 2 points for the reversal, and the Galion boy locked hands. Boom. A close 6-5 match turns into a 9-5 bout.
And as soon as Christo knew locking hands, he had a free move.
Yeah, free move, just like in football when a lineman jumps. Throw that ball downfield.
And that's what happened.
9-5.
Nice match.
9-5.
9-5. Good finish.
Smart match, wasn't it?
It was. Counter.
Did you see Nico come over and respectfully acknowledge Coach Wigginson?
Yep. That's what wrestling does for you.
They know
the legend.
They know each. They know, and the legend knows who they are too.
Ryder McKay, this is a 160-pound weight class.
This young man impressed us before, remember?
Yeah. He's got that strong upper body.
He's going to wrestle that freshman for Northmor that I told you earlier just doesn't back down. I said he had true grit. Remember him?
Yep.
His name is Colton Brammer.
And it's got to be tough when you walk out there and you know you're wrestling somebody that is actually a little bit better than you.
I'm going to be honest with you. He's not a polished wrestler. In fact, I talked to his family last week. He's not a polished wrestler, but man, he is a tough kid. And
he's going to get better and better.
Yes, he will.
And right now we're going to take it down on the mat. Brian, it's all yours.
So I've got Nico Christo with me now. Really exciting match. Take me through those about the last minute or so where you had to keep your grip the whole time to maintain your advantage and ultimately hang on to get that dub.
Once I got the reversal, I just knew he wasn't getting up. I was going to let him.
I think that kid's just a freshman, but I heard he was really decorated at the middle school level. I mean, what type of future do you think that guy's got?
He got a great future. He's good. Very good wrestler.
Obviously, you're well established. State qualifier, I believe, last year. No seniors on this team. So tell me about being one of the leaders out here. You're obviously being looked up to be one of the top dogs.
Yeah, I just try to set a good example for everyone. Do everything right. Don't do any stupid things. Just make sure everyone looks up to me and I do stuff right.
Well, worked out for you in that last match. Congratulations, and look forward to following you out throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Send it back up to you guys.
Here comes another forfeit for Galion. Northmor just doesn't have the numbers this year.
Right. In the match before that, we saw Ryder McCabe get himself a pin in the first period. The team scores right now is 36-6. Galion's up. But Galion has a little bit more depth. They got almost a full lineup.
They've got a lot more depth. Right now, Northmore's just fighting a numbers issue. The junior high hopefully will solve that with 20-some kids out in 2 grades. But here comes that fine Gavin Whited that, well, after another Northmor forfeit, we're going to have to concede this weight class.
This should be a good match.
Yeah, these are two tough kids that are about to toe the line. This is Caden Roberts for Galion. Caden is a junior. And Gavin, they weigh the same amount. Gavin weighs 214. Caden weighs 215. They're wrestling the 220-pound weight class, both about 5 pounds light.
And they both won the night already.
Yes.
So this is a good match of 2 wrestlers who have already been on the mat.
This speaks to what we talked about earlier. About a third of the lineup is losing weight. About a third of the lineup is wrestling right where they weigh, and about a third of the lineup is usually giving up a little weight. Well, these 2 are both light, but they both weigh the same amount. They're wrestling 220 and only weigh 214, 215.
And that's the nice thing about wrestling. You're always going to match up with somebody your weight.
At your size. I always found it to be one of the most fair sports. I grew up the son of a high school phys ed coach and teacher and tried a lot of sports consequently as I was growing up because that was my dad. He was coaching. But I always gravitated back to wrestling. I thought it was fair. I was small, and I liked the idea of wrestling someone, competing against someone my own size.
Right now, Galion, Northmor tried to move, didn't follow up with it. Galion countered, gets a 2-point.
Still doing it.
He was on top. He did not want to wrestle on the mat, so he said, bring us both up. So now the score is now 2-1.
Gavin was good enough to be in our lineup as a freshman. He started out as a teddy bear, but, man, he's no teddy bear anymore.
And when you have a great team like Northmor has year after year, and you're a freshman and you can break into the lineup.
At a heavier weight class.
A lot.
Yeah, at a heavier weight class.
Yep, that says a lot about the program and about the athlete on the mat. Right now, these 2 young men are just working each other, upper body, going at each other, trying to psych out, find out what they can use. All week in practice, you practice a move. You get good at it, so you can use it.
It's like I said, I saw Ontario a week ago, and they thoroughly impressed me. We're going to have to get Coach Terrell and Coach Kroll to put together a duel match. That'll entertain the fans.
It will. And what's nice, they have 2 almost complete lineups.
Solid.
So here we go. Galion is down. Northmor takes up.
Galion's not down in score, though. Galion's ahead 2-1. And
he's got the arm bar in there.
Yeah, he got it a little high. You got to keep it perpendicular, 90 degrees.
You got to keep the wrist of the wrestler who's down. You got to keep it in the lower back. You can't take it up high.
Look at Coach Terrell work the official there.
Oh, yeah. And we have a penalty there.
No.
Illegal. Potentially dangerous.
He just called it caution. I don't know how much longer he's going to let him get away with that, though. Coach Terrell's really unhappy about it. It's right on the edge.
And the one thing people don't understand is when you are laying flat on the mat and you have 200 pounds on top of you, the effort it takes to get back to your base.
Amen,
Just
sir.
to get back to your knees, get your head off the mat.
High hips win on the mat. Keep your hips above his and let him feel those 200 pounds.
And it will wear you out pushing yourself off the mat to get to your base over and over and over.
There's a reason these matches are only 6 minutes in length. It's exhausting. The Galion wrestler.
He's able to get back to his base.
There he goes.
A little bit of hand control. Nice stand up. Works his way up.
Now it's
3-1.
3-1. 30 seconds left in the second period. Again, another match that if we were doing a Christmas tournament or a J.C. Gorman or a big tournament down the line where these two teams would meet, this would be a big match for seeding purposes.
Oh, nice counter to the Northmor. Tried a single leg. Galion was able to counter it.
A close 2-1 match is suddenly 5-1 Galion.
And we're going into the third period.
Those last 30 seconds got away from the Northmor wrestler.
Northmor takes down. He wants to be able to score getting off the bottom.
The Galion wrestler's going to kick him up.
Gives him 1 point.
5-2.
You like that strategy, Mike? Kicking him out?
He's ahead, and it's the third period. The only way he's going to get beat is to give up points, maybe get thrown. So, no, I don't. I'd keep him down.
Yeah, my philosophy on that would be you ride him on top.
As
take
long
time
as you
off
can,
the clock.
yeah.
When you get yourself in trouble, kick him out.
That's where I'm headed.
But that's why we're up here.
You're ahead 5-1, bleed the clock. But look what happened there. He kicked him out and now took him down again.
You're up 7-2.
And as we've talked about before, frequently you can get back points off of a takedown. He did not right there. But he's running the score up. It's now 7-2 with 1:20 left.
And he kicks him out again.
The Galion corner made that happen. Galion corner said kicking.
And that's what we were talking about. He rode him, took some time, kicked him out.
Watching the Northmor wrestler throw. There's a minute left, and it's the only way to win.
He needs a 5-point move to a pin.
He'll fight for, look at him, pummel for arm position, pummel for the underhook.
And he's got to push on the wrestler and get him to push back
into
the...
He shot. I don't know why he shot. He needed a head. He needed a throw. He didn't need a 2-point takedown.
2 more for the Galion. Good counter on it.
And the Northmor coach, I looked over, the Northmor coach had his hands up in the air like, why did you try that?
Galion kicks him out. 20 seconds on the clock. Scores 9-4 now. Another 2.
11-4.
I think fatigue's starting to set in. When you've been pushing around 200 pounds of weight, it wears on you a little bit.
And they really haven't had much of a preseason leading up to these opening duels.
They're not in shape yet.
They weren't able to do scrimmages. Think about that.
11-4, Galion win.
Effectively, Bruce, what we're watching in these December duels are the scrimmages.
Yeah. That's just like in football. The first 3 games were basically scrimmages.
This year.
They had no scrimmages.
Exactly. This year, really strange season.
Here's the heavyweight match. It's a forfeit. Next will come the 106.
Too many forfeits for Northmor.
We have Connor.
Just can't hide that.
Ganshorn from Galion. Cohen Hurst from Northmor.
Here comes our game little 93-pounder who's going to be somebody someday.
This is the last match of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank Ohio Reporting for giving us this live feed. Free.
It is, and we'd like to thank our sponsors also for making this happen.
And right now we have 2 fire plugs out there just going at it. 2-point takedown for Connor.
The Galion wrestler is somebody right now, and the Northmor wrestler is going to be somebody tomorrow.
Looking for the cradle. He's got it locked. He's going to pull him back, get back points. He's going to put that knee in the Northmor side and push him away. And just get it tighter. Northmor, the first thing he's got to do is try and break the hands, but didn't happen that match.
57-6. 57-6. Ooh, Northmor and Galion have had some tough duels. We've got one more coming up. One more match.
Exhibition match.
We've had some tough duels. No, this is an exhibition.
Oh, this is this is it.
This is Stoney from Northmor.
Yeah.
These are two very good wrestlers going at it right now.
Kidron's a good wrestler.
Kidron Clark is a sophomore, as is C.J. Stoney.
This is a 120-pound weight class.
Two sophomores. The score is 57-6. Northmor and Galion have had some really tight duels down through the years, but it's bound to happen every once in a while. Look at Michigan right now, sitting in football at 2-4.
I'm not even going to go there. We have two wrestlers going at it on the mat. And that's what's great about this. Even though the score is a little lopsided right now, the team score, you still have the individual match.
Amen.
And those two young men want to win.
Oh.
And they're going to give it everything they got. Sometimes when a football team gets up like this, 57-6, they kind of let things go. But here in wrestling, every match, every wrestler wants to continue to win. You don't want to be the one that loses.
When the lead comes in a football game, the coach will empty the bench. That isn't going to happen here. The best kids for each weight class, are going to toe that line and step on the mat.
And that's one of the things when you have a great program, it's really hard to get your JV wrestlers, your second team wrestlers match time in big tournaments.
Well, this year the JV tournaments have just fallen apart.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really sad. The JV tournaments.
I can still remember when Lexington had their powerhouse teams and Willard had theirs. They would send their A team to a big tournament, then their B team would go to another tournament.
Yeah.
They wanted to get those kids wrestling time, and
nothing wrong with that.
And you always felt like the competition. And I think that's what it boils down to. If you want to achieve stardom, you wrestle tough competition. And I know the teams around here do that. I can remember you guys would do that. Instead of wrestling tournaments around here, seeing the same kids over and over and over, you go different places. And you start meeting some of these different teams and different kids.
Wrestle bigger schools, tougher competition.
Yep.
Pays off at the end of the year.
And there's the pin for Kidron. And look at the sidelines cheering.
63-6, team score.
And ladies and gentlemen, what a night of wrestling. I'm sitting here with the legend Mike Skelton, who built this program here at Northmor.
The legends tonight are the guys that have ran these cameras and the computers. They've done a great job.
Brian Skowronski and
we just sat here and talked.
The Ohio Report is a free live feed on YouTube. What a night.
Bruce, thanks for having me.
This is on YouTube and Facebook.
I enjoyed my time here, Bruce. I'm going to sign off and hope to see you later this season.
And we're going to do this again, Mike.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. That was Mike Skelton, the legend from Northmor Wrestling. He would bring a team to the J.C. Gorman. And even though it was one of the smallest schools at the Gorman, everybody feared what he was bringing because he was just that type of coach and had those teams. Brian Skowronski's down on the mat. Going to talk to the winning coaches, I think, over there from Galion. But I tell you, with everything that's going on, COVID, not being able to practice, watching what's going on, kids being said you can't go to practice because you've been near somebody that had COVID and all this tracing, it was a great job tonight. Great job tonight. And what a better place than coming down to Northmor and the legend that Northmor has in wrestling and watching these teams go at each other. It was unbelievable. And right now we're going to take it down on the mat. Coach Terrell from Galion is going to talk to Brian Skowronski. And Brian, we're going to turn it over to you right now.
All right, thanks, guys. I got Brent Terrell with me now, Galion's head coach. Hey, a dominating performance in both matches. Tell me about just your overall take from what your guys did here tonight.
Well, this is our first action of the year against somebody else. We talk about we put in the work and we get paid when we get to wrestle somebody else. And we got paid tonight. We had fun. It was good. It was a good time.
Tell me about some of the younger guys that maybe you haven't had an opportunity to see in previous years that's really stood out to you tonight.
Landon Campbell was a freshman, wrestled a state place. I mean, he was right there with him to the end. I mean, he lost a close match to a really good kid, and he's a freshman. We have 6 or 7 freshmen, sophomores in our lineup. We're young, but they know how to wrestle, and they wrestle hard for us. They give us great effort. So, I mean, I'm very, very pleased. So, I mean, I can't think of the names off the top of my head or who I want to talk about, but overall, as a great team effort for us.
So just tell me about expectations for this team moving forward. You got to see them in action for the first time. Talking to a few of the kids, they really feel like they can accomplish some big goals, big dreams this year. From what you saw here tonight, I imagine you got to have the same sensation.
Oh, for sure. I'm very excited. I was excited from day one when I had this great group of kids. They're nice kids. They work really hard, and they're tough kids. They have everything we asked for as a coach, and our number one goal is we want to win league. So we want to win league, and once we win league, we can move on from there. I mean, we have personal goals to get the state and be state placers and all that stuff, but our number one goal is to win league. So we have a shot. League's tough, though. League's tough.
Hey, so you got the likes of Ontario and others out there, but we certainly look forward to watching you guys how you progress throughout the season. Thanks, Brent.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. I want to thank everybody who watched out there live and free tonight on our Facebook and YouTube channels. And, man, what a fantastic job that Mike and Bruce did for us here tonight. So a big, big thank you to them, bringing all the action to you throughout the entire night right here inside of Mike's own gym. It's actually named after the guy that commentated throughout this evening. So I want to thank the entire crew that was out here that helped make it happen. Jory Hollenbeck on the camera down here low. We also had Nick Jacobs up top, along with our new intern, Zach. Adam Thompson with all the graphics. My name is Brian Skowronski. Appreciate everybody watching here tonight from Northmor. But for now, signing out from North Bloomfield Township. See you next time.